Welcome to the Friday edition of the Bill Michaels Show. How are we looking today? Good day today. Although the wind is still kicking, sunshine today. I woke up today and actually felt like it was a little warmer. Then again, I think it feels warmer because the Brewers are now 4-3. They're above 500. And from where we were, I shouldn't say we, because there weren't a lot of us in that same boat. But from where the Brewers were after the first, 4 games, the loss to the Cubs in the opener, then the shelling of Brandon Woodruff in the second game. Brewers got that win, and then they got beaten. The Orioles' first game of that series, they got blanked there, 2-0. But really, since the last game of the Cubs series, if you want to get into the positive side of things on a very positive Friday, the Brewers are 4-1. They've won 4 of their last 5, 3 in a row. And Brandon Woodruff looked really solid yesterday. Brewers with a game time tonight of 7:10 on this Friday night edition. But from where they were and where you were, for those that thought the sky was falling, like this is not going to be a team that's going to win a championship. This is not going to be a team that goes to the postseason. I told you so, finger pointers, which I went off on last week. Are you now back saying, well, wait a minute. They've now won 3 in a row after the relatively rough start where they were 1-3. Or you can look at it as they've won 4 of their last 5. Wait a minute. Now I'm back on the bandwagon. I jumped off the bandwagon. I broke my ankle. I sprained myself. My knee is torn up. I blew out my ACL. I think I herniated a disc, and I pooped my pants. Are we back on the bandwagon now? We've cleaned ourselves up. We have let our bones heal, tendons heal, and we're feeling good. Are you back on the bandwagon now? Welcome to the Friday edition of the Bill Michaels Show. Also, you got the Bucks getting ready to take on the Chicago Bulls this weekend. I'm taking the Bucks 4-1 in that series. You've got Aaron Rodgers. He's happy. It was a nice Easter gift. We'll get into that discussion coming up as well. Ben, how was your Friday yesterday? Where'd you go and watch the game?
I had a lot of work to do. I didn't get out of here until late, but then I watched at home, went out, had a couple drinks at night. It was a chill day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm traveling this weekend, so I needed to.
Where are you going?
Not much. I'm going to New York, seeing some family.
Okay.
Seeing some friends.
Well, you're just a jet setter, man. You're all over the country.
I don't know. I hate that place, but
yeah, I'm not a big New York fan either. I've only been in New York a couple of times. A few of the times I went there with the Bucks from years ago, and which you don't do a whole lot. You fly into town, you go to the game, and you get out of there. I spent a week there for the Super Bowl, and it was basically down near Times Square. Stayed at the Marriott. And they ended up having because I remember Carnegie Hall and the Convention Center and Madison Square Garden would not host the NFL for the Super Bowl because New Yorkers don't care. They really, actually, they thought, because we would walk into a restaurant or something, we'd say, hey, we're here with the NFL covering the Super Bowl. And like, I can't wait till it's over. They just wanted us the hell out of there. We were just in their way. And that's kind of the way we were made to feel. But I had a nice time walking. I mean, it was within the 10, 15 blocks of Times Square that we spent most of our time. But it was pretty cool. But it wasn't like I got out to Rockaway Beach or anything like that, and hung out. But New York's okay. The one thing I noticed about New York, if you're going to take a GPS, don't. Because once you get into downtown Manhattan, the buildings are so tall, you don't get a satellite shot out. It's very hard to find a cell signal at times. So your GPS doesn't work right. You'll end up getting stuck on a block, and then finally when it does rediscover you, you're 10 blocks away from where you were supposed to be, and you've taken wrong turns, and you're stuck. So that's the one thing about GPS. It's just like you better know where you're going when you get to New York. But good stuff. So heading off to New York. So you just leaving today, or when are you leaving?
Later tonight. Every time I travel, it becomes a disaster. It's kind of a growing theme. So I had a flight that was well-timed. I was going to get there at a normal hour, to go out with some friends. But I got into work today, and it's now delayed 2 hours. So I'll get in there at midnight, and I'm going to be furious, but it's okay.
I wonder why.
It's because I was on the plane. Whenever I take an airplane,
Security check?
Something goes wrong every time.
Security check. It's probably what it is. Anyway, well, there you go. Best of luck traveling. I don't have much this weekend. This is kind of the calm before the storm. This is that weekend where I don't have a ton going on. You got Easter. Today's Good Friday, so happy Good Friday to all of you. This is the calm before the storm, because you've got this Easter Sunday, and then after that, it gets. I mean, the show itself is always, it is what it is, but the schedule begins to get really crazy, because next week is meetings and ramp up and some other stuff going on, and then we've got a sponsor thing here at the house over the weekend. And then I leave for Minneapolis. I'll be gone in Minneapolis 4 days. We get into the NFL draft, and then it's pretty much bam. It's crazy. It's crazy. So,
well, the World Series run is back on, so that's a good thing.
Well, that's good. No, I agree with that. That's good. I mean, once you get into baseball, you're now into postseason basketball. The NFL draft comes. And once the NFL draft gets here, then you've got the analyzation of what it is the Packers did. Then you've got the rookie minicamp, the voluntary workouts, OTAs, all that kind of stuff, because the NFL never stops. It's a 24/7 business, which means we start again gassing up the car of one Mike Clemens. This year, they're going to open things up. So we're thinking about even taking the show on the road and doing the show up there outside of Lambeau and trying to get some stuff there as well. But just a lot starts to happen. So it really, and then, before you know it, boom, it's the end of the season and we're back to New Year's. So, yeah, man, crazy schedule coming up. Our buddy ESPN Steve says, oh, my God, not another producer that travels with a cloud over his head. I've been there, done that.
Oh, what, is this a theme?
Yeah, I tend to have producers that have issues, have travel issues. So
I think part of it is I actually experience issues, and also I just despise traveling. And whenever I travel, I'm in an awful mood. So then one little inconvenience just ruins everything.
Okay. Yeah, well, I get the inconvenience part of it. I have been kind of lucky, knock on wood, that I have not experienced a lot of problems. I mean, I've heard some horror stories via travel. I haven't gotten to that point. I've never had to sit on a tarmac for more than an hour. I've never had flight cancel after Well, I take that back. When COVID hit and I was out in Arizona, it did. It was tough to get back because they started canceling flights. And that I remember. And then all of a sudden, then a lockdown happened and nothing was going on. But yeah, it was, that's the only time I ever experienced travel problems. Big time travel problems. I've had my luggage lost. Have you ever had that?
No, luckily.
Yeah, I've had luggage lost to where, the outside lights kick on at about 4 a.m. when the truck is delivering your luggage. And then you get the luggage that is the bag of shame. Have you ever had the bag of shame? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's when your zipper breaks. The zipper on the luggage. Oh, I had the bag of shame once. But that was when it was delivered to my house because they lost my luggage. I think they just threw it on the ground and forgot it. Maybe a plane ran over it. But oh yeah, I've seen that when you get the bag of shame and it comes out of the carousel, the chute of the carousel, and it's all duct taped up, and it's not good. That's the bag of shame. As a matter of fact, on our Super Bowl trip, Erica had the bag of shame. Her zipper blew up on her suitcase. She had this girly girl, pink leopard looking thing with gold on it and all zhuzhy, and she went to zip it up and blew out. So next thing you know, it's just a big roll of Gorilla Tape. And then it comes out. There's clothes hanging out of it and everything. And they can't expect it. So they slice it open. Because if it's taped up and they can't get into it, it's an automatically it's a red flag. So they've got to get into it to look around. So it's like when people lock their luggage and then they cut the lock off. So because you have to have access to your luggage when it goes through screening behind closed doors. So they cut the tape and then they retape it. So now you've got double and even triple the tape that was on there originally. It's crap. And then they throw it on the ground and the tape's all torn up. And it's the bag of shame is what it is. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free to go ahead and do so again. 877-867-1670. Find us on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can also track us down on YouTube. Great way to watch the show. Please subscribe there. It's absolutely free. Go to youtube.com. That's youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, Michaels, Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on Twitch TV as well if you want to download that app, and plenty of ways to email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And don't forget, after the program, you can always find us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, and on Google Podcasts as well. Brewers get a win. What was the bigger story coming out of yesterday's contest? Brewers get a win. And yesterday, was it Woodruff? Was it Woodruff coming out of the contest looking just game fantastic? Or was it the fact that Christian Yelich took one deep, doubled a rocket in the deepest part of the park for a double? Ended up scoring as well. But the fact that Yelich yesterday finally gives you that glimpse that was a bullet too. It wasn't like he lifted one high into the air. It was a rocket. And now, at least, when you listen to the broadcast, when you're listening to Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder, they both noted he's starting to hit a little more solid. He's starting to give you, even if, the at-bats have been, a couple of them have either been really hard ground balls or a line shot directly at someone, that he is starting to really kind of key in on a baseball. Andrew McCutchen, again, with another knock yesterday, picked up an RBI. Colton Wong gets off the schneid, 2 for 4 at the top of the lineup yesterday, scores a run, drives in a run. Solid outing for him. Narvaez yesterday, solid as well. He goes 2 for 4, scores a run, drives in 2. So good day yesterday at the plate, top to bottom for the Brewers. Lorenzo Cain, he still struggles, 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts yesterday. Not looking great right now. Rowdy Tellez, again, 1 for 3. He scored yesterday as well. So not a bad day offensively against Adam Wainwright. Wainwright yesterday, not a great outing, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. 7 strikeouts. He was dealing a little bit early on. Gave up the 1 long ball and then a couple of walks. But Brandon Woodruff, 5 innings of solid work, 89 pitches in those 5 innings. And I'll tell you this, the home plate umpire sucked yesterday. Was awful. There was 2 or 3 times that he should have rung some people up for Brandon Woodruff and didn't. He shouldn't have thrown 89 pitches. He probably should have thrown about 75. But he gives up 3 hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts, should have been 4 or 5, and just 1 walk yesterday, getting a lot of ground balls. Gott came in, gave up the 1 hit, but had a solid inning. Gustav comes in, gives up the 1 solo shot, and that was the extent of it. So not a bad way to go yesterday for the Brewers, who are now back to the top when it comes to the division, tied up with the St. Louis Cardinals. So good stuff. 877-867-1670. Let's do this when we come back. We're going to hear from inside the clubhouse yesterday after the ball game. Brewers get a win, back at it again tonight. Bucks preparing for the Chicago Bulls this weekend. Aaron Rodgers is grinning. A lot of good stuff going on right now. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The roar of racing is back at Road America. NASCAR, IndyCar, Superbikes, Vintage. The 640 acres of land in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin will shake with a roar of engines. Get your tickets now and secure your spot up close. Camping sites and corporate hospitality space is available. Get your 2022 season pass, individual tickets, and all the info at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Road America, America's National Park of Speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
And the Brewers have one more.
I'll drink to that. Good call, Bob Euchre. Welcome back to the program as the Brewers get the win yesterday, and good stuff down at the ball yard. Good crowd, a lot of energy. I mean, I know the wind was howling a little bit, but too bad the roof wasn't open for that one. That one might have landed in Cudahy, but nevertheless, Brewers get the win. They've now won 4 of their last 5, and the Brewers actually, and I said they're sitting atop. Cubs got a win. So the Cubs won yesterday, which means the Cubs jumped a half game ahead, I should say. Half game ahead of the Cardinals and the Brewers. Brewers and Cardinals now tied, half game behind the Cubs. Pirates only a game back. Pirates have won 2 in a row. Break them up. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, they are sucking swamp water. Their pitching is just awful, and they are falling fast. But yeah, the Cubs are atop the division right now. Fly that W just for a short period of time, and then call it a day. But St. Louis and Milwaukee back at it again tonight, just after 7 o'clock Central Time, down at the ball yard. In the meantime, when you go to the after party, that was the game. Craig Counsell, after the ball game, talked about Burns and Woodruff kind of bouncing back after those first starts.
We're getting a little spoiled by these guys. They are great. They are going to have hiccups. Their seasons are going to be different. They're still going to be great, but they're going to be different. But they're talented. They work hard. They're conscientious, and they're going to have success over the long term. So, there's going to be blips in the season, but I think you see them come back from them. It shows who they are.
Then just the oddity yesterday. Albert Pujols on second decides to steal third. Here's what Counsell had to say about it.
He's a smart player, and then you try to catch us napping a little bit and catch Woody in a little bit of a rhythm. I thought that was another, just how Woody just didn't panic right there. That you can panic there, you can balk there when you see something like that. I thought he calmly stepped off and realized he had some time, and we executed a play.
Now, I had mentioned this in the first segment of the show today, but Woodruff should have had a few more strikeouts. The umpiring behind home plate was a joke. It was bad. And this is the kind of umpiring that this is the reason home plate umpires are going to lose their job. This is the reason why, because he took it personal. The guy clearly was not going to give Woodruff a call, even though the Fox tracks over and over and over and over again showed strikes, lower corners, inside, outside, even pitches that were damn near right over the plate. He wasn't calling, and Counsell talked about Woodruff Woodruff got a little mouthy, and Counsell had to come out of the dugout in between the fourth and the fifth inning. But nevertheless, Counsell talks about, Woodruff kind of keeping his cool.
That's some experience, I think, being in those situations before. I think Brandon can tell you about a couple of situations that he's let it get the best of him, and that's where experience comes in. Learning from those situations and continue to attack and not let the emotion of the moment take over. And he did a really nice job.
He did. He did a really nice job. And as it continues on, you've got, Craig Counsell talking about Omar Narvaez, a great game yesterday for him.
Omar had a great game, kind of on all sides of it to me. I think our lineup's built to be able to get contributions the whole way through. So getting some contributions down at the bottom today was good.
Also, Craig Counsell after the ball game. I take that back. Colton Wong. Playing in front of a solid and a sold-out stadium, a place finally, for the first time since he came over, playing in front of a sold-out stadium at American Family Field, the first time since 2019.
Yeah, it's awesome. Amazing. Anytime you come here, and fans are amazing. It's just like you can tell there's a little bit of alcohol in there, so it's a little rowdy, but it's so fun. And that's what we have missing for a while, and now I think they're starting to get back to normal. You feed off of that. This crowd, every single time they're out here, you feed off just the energy they're bringing and that liquid courage. So, I love it. Keep it coming.
Liquid courage. He had his son with him, by the way. They're on the podium. Liquid courage, a little liquid courage in some people. In addition to that, Colton Wong talked about the offense and the season they're having so far.
I think for spring training, we kind of had that mindset. We saw the guys that we had, the guys that we brought in, and it just kind of put a confidence throughout the clubhouse. We know that we can hit. We know that we can put up runs. And, it's been kind of hit or miss the past couple of days, but it's still early. So, no panic. We just understand how good we are. We just got to continue to keep grinding, keep our head down, and keep putting together good at-bats.
Colton Wong got into the discussion when you talk about the additions in the offseason, and and we've talked about this time and again. We got into this discussion quite a bit yesterday about the addition of Andrew McCutchen and what they've gotten from him so far.
Kutch is, he's a seasoned vet, man. He knows how to do it in any situation. So, to have him come up and do that was huge for us to get us on the right foot. And, Woody kind of handled the rest, and we were able to scratch a few more runs across. So when we're doing that, we're a dangerous team.
And then Brandon Woodruff, I mentioned, only a couple of strikeouts yesterday, but got the job done. A lot of ground balls, really tough situation with the home plate umpiring. And he talks about having success when you're not throwing a bunch of fire and blowing it past a bunch of guys.
That's good. Being a pitcher, it's not always about striking people out, and that's hard to do. But to work through some innings and sequence up some pitches and get through it, and the most important part is you put up a zero.
And then he did discuss Albert Pujols trying to take off for third and trying to catch him napping.
I'll tell you what, that time, I said 2 pitches in a row, and I think I'd kind of fallen into a pattern of taking a breath. And I think he noticed it, and for whatever reason, I just held on just a touch longer. And I told myself as soon as he got on second that he wasn't going to steal. I'm like, I'm not worried about him as a runner. But that's what the Cardinals are good at. They're good at trying to take advantage of any time, anything that you can give them. And for whatever reason, I just held it for a little bit longer, and he took off, and I was able to step off in time. So. Then
you have the discussion regarding the home plate umpiring and the fact that yesterday, and as I had mentioned, obviously, that the home plate umpiring was not good to say the very least. It is what it is. But he talks a little bit about that.
Even last year, man, I've had those times where I've had that happen to me, and I get pretty fired up about it because it matters. I went back and watched them. They're pretty good. So I think last year I probably would have let that get to me a little bit and maybe not executed as well. But in that moment, I just kept telling myself, take a breath, clear it out, reset, and worry about the next pitch. And I think I was able to do a pretty good job of that and get through that inning.
He did a good job of that yesterday. He really did. And then last but not least, just a good step forward after going through a really rough outing his first time down in Chicago.
I'm still working hard every day and, getting right back to it tomorrow. I still feel like today was a better step in terms of getting back to who I am. I'm not quite on the train tracks yet, but I'm getting there. And today was the right step. And it's such a long season. So getting there. And then, but yeah, today was a lot better. Just trying to carry that momentum going forward.
So there you go. That was some of the sound coming out of the clubhouse after the ball game yesterday. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. This is from Zach in Wisco. Says this was Monday night as well. He said too many ump strike zones look like gerrymandered congressional districts. Yeah, it was not good. It's one thing where, if it's every now and then, if you're near the corner, maybe there's a miss, but this was consistent. By the way, the Players Alliance announces that several MLB players, including Lorenzo Cain, Jason Hayward, Aaron Hicks, Mike Moustakas, David Price, all going to donate their salary from Friday's games on Jackie Robinson Day to invest in struggling inner city and rural baseball teams. So everybody's salary for today's game goes towards those initiatives. Nice stuff. Bob Nightingale reporting that. Good stuff. So remember that when Lorenzo Cain takes to the field. That's just crossing the wire today. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free to do so. Got a couple of emails I want to get to when we come back. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. Bud Light and the Bud Light Hard Soda. Thanks to Budweiser as well, the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. And everything they did for us yesterday, the specials down at Stanny's, we had a great time. Can't say enough to the staff and management down there. We had a lot of fun. And it was all due in part to our friends from Bud Light and all of our on-site sponsors as well, which we'll roll throughout the day. But, man, what a fun day yesterday down at Stenny's. That place, by the time we were getting ready to get off the air, it was packed. I mean, jam-packed. And they were running 2 full bus shuttles continuously about every 15 minutes. Shuttles were leaving for the ballpark. So I can't imagine what it was like getting back there after the game. How many people were hanging around and as Colton Wong put it, serving up the liquid courage. But man, oh man, that place was packed yesterday. So thanks to all the Brewers fans that came out and hung out with us yesterday. So much fun, such a good time. And thanks to Eduardo, who was he walked in wearing a Cardinals jersey. His buddy is from Milwaukee and he is from St. Louis. Didn't think this would end up being an opening day game, but they bought tickets for this. And he walked in, got booed a little bit. But he said he had an absolute blast. So thanks to Eduardo for coming up and saying hi to us as well yesterday. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
They don't repair cracked helmets, cracked teeth, or cracked stadium seats. They do repair cracked windshields. Complete Auto Glass, windshield repair and replacement, windshield camera recalibration, and more. An insurance-preferred service provider with free price quotes and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, you'll be happy to know you're dealing with a local, family-owned business who understand their Wisconsin neighbors. Complete Auto Glass, repair and replacement. Visit CompleteAutoGlass.com. Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You know, and the Ewing Hotel is it's a really cool place. It's been renovated into a hotel. We've got one similar to that in Milwaukee called the Iron Horse, and same ownership group. And we're going to be doing the show there from the Ewing Hotel in Minneapolis on the 26th and 27th. But don't forget on the 28th, we are going to bring you all the first round draft coverage of the NFL draft, trades, all that kind of good stuff. So it's going to be a fascinating night, but really looking forward to it. So don't forget, coming up less than 2 weeks away on the night of the 28th, 7:00 Central, right after Kenny and Heilprin on our flagship station out of Milwaukee or out of Madison. We're going to be bringing you the NFL draft on many of these same stations. So good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free. I want to say hi to Ted. Hey, what up? Also, Justin says, Tiki Bar looks amazing. Weather, very nice down south. I see the wind is blowing. You better believe it. 4 inches of fresh snow up north? Really? I saw that whatever that low pressure system is that's kind of sweeping through the upper portion of the state. This is what's bringing the wind. But I didn't know you got snow up there. But then again, yesterday it was pretty interesting because a lot of the guys that I see from Tomahawk were down at Stenny's last night. They were going to take the shuttle over to the game, and there was Howie and Gregor and Rob and everybody that was down there, and they said, "Oh God, it's like every day they're getting a quarter inch to 2 inches to 3 inches to 2 inches to it just keeps building up and it's not going away." I'd be pulling my hair out at this point. Then again, on this date 4 years ago, as my buddy Justin showed me, 18 inches of snow fell in the Wausau area. Blah. Don't think I can handle that. 18 inches of fresh powder fell 4 years ago. So things could be worse, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. 877-867-1670. Hey, I wanted to bring this up. Did you see, Ben, by any chance, the front page of Yahoo Sports today?
No, I have not.
None other than a big story done about our buddy Brian Kelly, the head coach of LSU.
Let me guess. Either TikTok dancing videos.
No.
He, along with the other coaches of his age, coming out against NIL.
Mm-hmm.
Or he is now fully Southern and is tanned and has the accent.
The accent. The accent. He hyped up the power of the Tigers, discussed the limitations of the Irish, which the limitations are he can't get kids that he wants into the school because of the academic requirements. Wow. It's funny because Lou Holtz won a national title there. It can be done. Anyway, then he had to even try to explain his pronunciation of family because everybody wants to know, hey, when did you get this Cajun accent? So the article basically goes to the fact that he's as phony and as much of a liar as anybody. Whether he's at home or at a crawfish boil, he's not going anywhere. It doesn't matter because after all, LSU fired one of the most uniquely Louisiana coaches of all time, and Ed Orgeron. And he was as Cajun gets. So Kelly has adopted the Cajun accent, or at least tried to. Everybody's kind of making fun of him. But the story goes on to say that they don't care. They don't care. They know he's full of crap. They know he's a liar. They know he's not Cajun. They know he's not Southern. They know he's full of crap, and they don't care. That's what the article basically says, is because if he wins and brings a national title down there, that's all that matters. Beyond that, they don't care. So it's basically an article of, here's Brian Kelly. He's leading the LSU Tigers. He's got recruiting up. He's got more name recognition down there, more than Orgeron. And we know he's an absolute bald-face, F-bomb dropping, SOB lying bastard in the Cajun sense. And they don't care. In other words, we've got no morals. We don't care about anything but winning. We know that he's an SOB, everything, all the baggage that comes with this slime ball. As long as he wins, we don't care. At least LSU puts it on the table. You know what I mean? At least now I don't like it, but at least LSU says, yeah, we're in it to win it. Beyond that, we don't have a whole lot of character beyond that. But the whole article was about Kelly being a phony and how LSU doesn't give two damns. They don't care. I was reading that this morning and I was kind of laughing. Kelly won a couple of national titles at Division II at Grand Valley State, and then obviously went on to have success with University of Cincinnati and Notre Dame. He's the winningest coach in program history and got the Irish to a BCS title game in 2 playoffs, where they were basically just blown out. He's not known as a big-time recruiter or a charismatic personality in nearly any setting, it says. He was good enough to improve the Irish's talent, that it went from being forever hailed as a nothing but hype top 10 program, and it continues there today. Kelly counting on the institutional power of LSU to overcome that, despite arriving just days before the early signing period last September. He's got recruits. It goes through all of that. But basically it says, like, look, he's not a nice guy. He's not a charismatic guy. He's a liar. He's a fake. He's a phony. He's a fraud. But he knows how to coach. He's a winner. So LSU took a shot. I can't imagine how long he'll last if now that he's basically said, hey, I had restrictions at Notre Dame. I couldn't bring in the guys that I wanted because their academic standards are too high. I couldn't bring in those JUCOs. I couldn't bring in those transfer guys. I couldn't bring in guys that weren't smart enough to work at Notre Dame. But I can bring in those guys at LSU. So I don't have any reasons not to win a national title now, other than maybe Nick Saban sitting across the border. But now, how long do you think it goes before Brian Kelly is out of a job at LSU?
I think they have a couple years of success, and then quickly the marriage falls off a cliff as soon as they go 7-5.
We can only hope.
4 years is my guess. 4 years.
4 years? Okay. 4 years. We gotta put it in a file now. Gotta write it down. 4-year prediction, Brian Kelly will be out at LSU. I think he will have enough success to keep them interested. It's going to take him probably a year or two at least to get to where he's now. Here's the other thing. They're going to eventually expand the playoff, and I would assume he's going to get into that. Does that then give him enough cred if he gets into that, say 2 or 3 times, to then make him a coach that's going to be there for as long as he wants? Or if he's not in the top 4 every year, do they look at and he doesn't win a national title? Do they look at this as this guy is exactly his build? He's full of crap. He's all hype. He's going to be a pretty good coach, but he's not going to get you over the top. And now you got to go find a coach that will.
I think it's the second one, because Les Miles won there. Ed Orgeron won there. So then Brian Kelly is supposed to be a better coach than both of them. If he doesn't win a national title in 6-7 years, then he's gone. Yeah. I don't think making the playoff is enough for them.
Yeah. Interesting. I can't wish enough defeats upon Brian Kelly. I just can't. By the way, our buddy Justin over on Twitter, Swamp Donkey, by the way, is what he goes by, says, this is what my yard looks like right now. The wind's been blowing sideways. It's a mess. And he sends me a picture. Oh, my goodness. Snow everywhere. My buddy Dwayne at Dwayne's Cover It All up in Wausau just sent me a picture, too. Snow everywhere, blowing all over the joint. Piles of it, snow drifts. And I do like the fact, though, Justin, that you send me a picture and it's off the back deck or the front deck or wherever this is, but he's got a Christmas wreath and the Christmas tree stand still sitting there. That's good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay, Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no math.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
Add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Bill Michaels Show. We continue on this Friday. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Pindell, a quality machining manufacturing company. It's right here in our own backyard. It's in New Berlin, Wisconsin. And if you're looking for a job with a great company, just go to Pindell, Pindel, Pindell.com. That is Pindell.com. And check them out for yourself. Good people over there. Good people. Jordan and Bill and everybody. If you're looking for a job, whether it can be even sales job, they're looking for all kinds of people over there. So check out Pindell.com. That's Pindel.com. Pindell.com. What do we have here? Justin says the snow finally melted enough to get the wreath and the stand off my frozen deck. So in other words, it's been out there since Christmas. It snowed and it's just now becoming visible. Okay, now you get a little more of a reprieve, I guess, is the best way to put it. You get a little forgiveness there. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. So this one's from Anthony, who said, what has yesterday proved to us Brewers fans? I'll say this. When you're looking for proof out of one game, you don't get baseball that well. Baseball is such a marathon. It's just, you can't really make some kind of a drastic distinction out of only one game. The only game that would matter was Game 7 of a World Series, and then your distinction is either champion or runner-up. But other than that, what did it prove? It didn't prove anything. It was good to have the fan. I mean, if you're talking about the way it was over the last couple of years versus now, last year was no fans and then 25% capacity. The year before was not a single fan in the stands. That was it. So, as far as one game goes, it was just good to see fans back. It was good to see the energy back at the ballpark. When Narvaez went yard, to hear, you call it and the crowd go wild in the background and all of that. I mean, that's to me. And here's the other thing, to see broadcasters on the road traveling, when they do that little shot behind them, to see the field that they're actually supposed to be at, because for a long time, in the last couple of years, the broadcasters weren't traveling. They were doing it from the studio, either at the ballpark or another type of studio. They weren't actually there. So to see everybody there, to see the national anthem, the giant American flag draped across the entire outfield of American Family Field, fans, the seventh inning stretch with God Bless America, it was all perfect. I mean, granted, they won. Had they not won, it wouldn't have been perfect, but it was all perfect as a Brewers fan. Just to be back. It was great. 877-867-1670. Phil says the Brewers looked great yesterday. Pitching is back to two great starts in a row. As Craig Counsell said, after the game yesterday, he said, hey, look, we've been spoiled. You're just used to Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta just going to the hill and bang, bang, bang. Mowing guys down and moving on. Win, win, win. Get to the bottom of the rotation, you're good to go. And every now and then you're going to hit a bump in the road. That's to be expected. He's right. But that's what we've become accustomed to. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. So, no, I'm not looking at yesterday going, okay, they're on their way to a World Series. Nor was I looking at them as a losing team or franchise or not being able to get to a postseason just because they started out with a couple of losses early to the Cubs. But I will say this. Here's something to think about, okay? Here's something to think about. When you look at the Brewers and you look at the games, okay? What have I said? 4.2, right? 4.2. They won 5-4. They won 5-4. They won 4-2. They won 5-1. You score 4 runs or more, most of the time you're going to win. 2 of the 3 games they lost, the first game of the season, they lost 5-4. Scored 4 runs, ended up taking a loss. That's going to be somewhat of a rarity if the pitching staff holds up. But the other 2 games, they didn't play to run. They got beat 9-0 and 2-0. So 4 and 5 seems to be the epic amount. When you get to that run total, 4.2 on average runs per game, you're going to win quite a few games. Absolutely. 877-867-1670. After the top of the hour, we'll talk a little bit more about baseball, but after the top of the hour, yesterday, Sammy Watkins signed to a 1-year deal with the Green Bay Packers. Apparently, according to Pat McAfee, who has spoken with Aaron Rodgers, who has spoken with Sammy Watkins, Rodgers is happy about this, which one is good. Obviously, there's some knowledge of Matt LaFleur or the system that Matt LaFleur is utilizing from Sammy Watkins as those two were together in L.A. years ago. So there's that knowledge there. But Rodgers is happy. Therefore, should we all be happy? And not look at this as a bargain basement signing. 877-867-1670. Hit us up, 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. 3 more hours on this Good Friday. Good Friday edition of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up right after this. Hour number 2 on a Good Friday edition of the Bill Michaels Show. Good day. Welcome back. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Quick Trip. Quick Trip's got it going on. I got to tell you, I was coming home yesterday, and actually we went out to Nice Ash for a little bit after we left Stenny's. And opening day, everybody asked me, why don't you go to opening day? Opening day, because when you do this for a living, opening days are great to be a part of and to cover. And I love that atmosphere, that raucous atmosphere. But sometimes, you know what? If you're not actually at the ballpark, but you're covering opening day, it's good. So yesterday, ate down at Stenny's, went out to Nice Ash on the way home, stopped off at Quick Trip, grabbed a few things. And it was just so cool standing at Quick Trip yesterday. I was filling up with gas, too. I needed to get some gas. And just all the Brewers fans coming back. stopping off, and everybody's wearing, Brewers gear and such yesterday. But I saw quite a few people just, hey, it was almost like that from years gone by, that old commercial where everybody's walking up and down the street for the high school going, go Bluebirds. It was like, go Brewers, go Brewers, go Brewers, go Brewers. It was people pumping gas at the pump and walking in and out and grabbing the cheeseburgers and the chicken to take home later for the evening and for their dinner and such. It was just a cool experience. But if you were going to do some tailgating, maybe you're going to do some tailgating tonight or over the weekend. Stop in a Quick Trip. They got the 5-ounce bacon wrapped pork fillets, 99 cents, limit 5 right now at Quick Trip. And you can stop in and grab them. Otherwise, they have all the fixings for your tailgate. They have got brats and hot dogs. They've got ground beef if you want to make up some burgers. They've even got charcoal, for gosh sakes. Charcoal, beverages, buns, condiments. You can't go wrong stopping in a Quick Trip. Oh, by the way, they got gas. So there you go. Our friends at Quick Trip, thanks to them for being a long-time part of the program. You can't go wrong. And don't forget, every time you go in, use your Quick Rewards card. Because I'll tell you what, those cheeseburgers, nothing tastes better than a free cheeseburger when you get one of those when you go to pay. And they say, oh, by the way, today's cheeseburger is free. Oh, my God. It is so good. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. So, Sammy Watkins yesterday makes a visit, comes into Green Bay, and gets signed. He is now signed. And everybody thought, well, Aaron Rodgers like this. Is this a guy that's kind of that, you're going into the bargain basement. Everything's been picked over, and you're like, and you start to go through the bin. And then, oh, wait a minute. There's one thing here. Might be worth something. How we like this? And it's on sale. And it's marked way, way down. And you're like, well, okay, but how good is it really? Is it out of date? Is it out of fashion? Is it starting to weather? Why is this at such a bargain basement price? And yet Aaron Rodgers, according to Pat McAfee, thinks it's a good deal. Take a listen to what Pat McAfee had to say.
Aaron Rodgers has told sources who have told me, talked to Sammy Watkins last night. Excited about the signing. Can't wait to get to work with Sammy.
There you go. Excited about the signing. Can't wait to get to work. It's a little different because when you say can't wait to get to work, the report that came out earlier this week was can't wait to get to work, but not coming for the voluntary workout. So maybe just he can't wait to get to work to start working on himself and his own personal trainer and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. Look, I somewhat make fun, tongue in cheek. Part of it is true because I don't want to hear the excuse of, hey, I'm not on the same page. I don't trust these guys. They've got issues. I've got issues, whatever it happens to be. And then ultimately it doesn't work. And then you go back to the, hey, I don't trust this person. I don't have a relationship with this person. I'm not comfortable with this person. Well, then get your ass in there and get comfortable with them. That's your job. But on the other hand, hey, you're a veteran. You can do what you want, but just don't make the excuses at the end of the season and point the finger at everybody else, but yourself. I can see if a guy continuously drop passes that are right in his hand. That I get. But when you don't throw to him when he's wide open and you don't give him that opportunity, well, then that's pretty much on you, isn't it? Sure it is. Your thoughts on the Sammy Watkins signing? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Do you think, here's the next question. Do you think the Packers are done with signings and they're just going to go through the draft? Or do you think there's something else that'll be in the works within the next couple of months? Maybe you can always say, well, maybe a wide receiver gets cut on June 1st during cutdowns. Okay, I can see that. That might happen. But do you think there's another trade in the works? Go with the "in Goody we trust" motto. And if that's the case, then you'd have to believe there might be something else up his sleeve. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give me your thoughts there. Chuck says, oh, good. His Royal Highness is happy. Now all is okay in Packerland. Give me a break. Rodgers needs to get his ass to every team practice, OTA, etc., to work with these guys and get on the same page. If not, this season will be a repeat, as so many others are. Justin says, great signing. Still need 2 more wide receivers, though. One to take the top off and the other one more like Sammy. Is Sammy Watkins, though, isn't Amari Rodgers kind of like Sammy Watkins in a sense? You know? Is there another move to be made? Or is this it? And then wait for the draft. And here's the next question. Let's say they don't make another move. And then they pick up, say, 2 more, maybe even 3 wide receivers in the draft. Does this then become a failure of Gutekunst by not going after and getting another one? I'm getting a lot of people that are upset because Rodgers took the bigger contract. The base salary of the contract is really not. It's actually a step back. He gave them some space, and that's not an excuse. What you can look at is, you can say, they got a lot of guys. They got a lot of guys they paid. They got a lot of guaranteed money right now. Bakhtiari, Aaron Jones, Kenny Clark, Devondre Campbell. You know, they still have a little bit of room if they get Jair done and maybe renegotiate Lowry's deal. I don't know if they want to do that, but so, you know, I don't think so. I'm not going to put this on Rodgers when it comes to the salary limitations, because he didn't take a ton of money. He took a big contract, but as far as the base salary goes for this particular coming year, he didn't grab a ton of money. It's going to come due. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But they have that ability to move some money around. So have they done enough? Have they done enough? Bringing in Sammy Watkins. For everybody else that you can say might be on the open market. Now, and Kelly says, what about OBJ mid-season? That's not a terrible idea. Say Odell Beckham Jr. comes back and he's working out, and he's coming back from the the ACL tear, and say about October he's cleared to play and ready to go, and you still need that wide out. That might not be a bad way to go. He could come in and help this team. Now, there may be another team out there that has an injury issue and they may press a little bit harder, but you know, that might not be a bad way to go. Kelly, I agree with that. But right now, you're not gonna sign him. I think right now what you do is you maybe lay down groundwork for interest, but it depends on what you have available, and it depends on, you know, obviously his ability to play. But that's not a bad way to go. But as of right now, no, I'm not going after OBJ. Not going after OBJ. 877-867-1670. Ricky says, got to get him here to get him chemistry with everybody. Dan, thanks so much. Appreciate it. You the man. Justin says, I can see them bringing some guys in after June 1st cut days, and Rodgers then can help make a decent wide receiver good. If you get a wide receiver or two, somebody that you might have had your eye on previously on the cut down day. Now, when it comes to cut down day, you're not going to get a bunch of nobody talent. You're going to get 1 or 2 guys that are going to be out there that are going to be cost efficient because of big contracts to certain franchises. So you may get 1 or 2 and then let the bidding begin, but you're not going to get a lot. It's not like you're going to get 20 guys that are out there because remember, there's quite a few teams looking for wide receivers too. It's not just the Green Bay Packers. There's quite a few teams out there that want additional wide receivers. In a quarterback-driven league where the rules continue to change in favor the offense, specifically downfield, you're really going to want more wide receivers, more weapons. The more weapons, the better. So the Packers are only going to have so much money to spend. That's part of the problem. This might be it. Who else do we have? The Lackey says Goody is done. Book it. He's going to get a couple of wide receivers in the draft, and that's it. Rodgers is just going to have to suck it up and play better and actually run Matt LaFleur's offense. Lackey, he's run the offense. Has the offense not flowed well? Is there some problem that people just believe that Rodgers is rogue? You know? He's not gone rogue. He's ran the offense. And put it this way, if there was a problem, you would probably notice it with LaFleur on the sidelines, getting into Rodgers' ear. You would notice it more. You would hear about it. We just haven't heard about it. We haven't heard anything. I personally think it's a good collaboration between Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. The offense. Now, you might have heard something say from Nathaniel Hackett, Luke Getsy. I don't think they're going to not say anything negative about the Packers or about their experiences. I mean, I think everything was pretty positive. The only thing I can say is that there were times in that offense when the offense looked good and guys were open. It schemed guys open, but Rodgers chose to go in the direction of Devontae. But otherwise, I think Rodgers and the relationship between him and Matt LaFleur, that's a moot point. It's a non-starter for many that understand it. Yeah, it's to continuously blame Rodgers for everything, I think is wrong. Is there some things to blame him for? Sure. Absolutely. Same with LaFleur. Same with the defense, special teams, obviously. So you can go in that direction, but to lay all of this on Aaron Rodgers because there seems to be this mounting dislike for, as it was put, his highness or prima donna or, whatever other adjective some people want to throw in there. I think it's wrong. I think it's heaping too much upon him, even though a lot of the times he gets a ton of the credit. Which is why this year I said, I don't care. I don't care about records. I don't care about these incredible performances. I don't care about the regular season. This is about strictly the next year or two, the window of opportunity to get to and win a Super Bowl. That's it. Any short of mass injury, anything else beyond that doesn't matter to me. Now, you can see certain things. You can see growth out of a rookie wide receiver. You can see growth out of a guy like Amari Rodgers. You can see Randall Cobb becoming more of a contributor as a veteran. Sammy Watkins doing the same. The return of Elton Jenkins. You can see things get better or worse as the season goes on. But when it comes to wins and losses, I don't care. You can win. You can win every damn game. I don't care. It's exciting. It's something to follow. It's something to talk about. But I don't care. It is about Super Bowls now. That's it. Otherwise, you should have blown it up. But when you have a window of opportunity and a Hall of Fame quarterback in your stable, you ride that pony till he can't ride no more. Seriously. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay, Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no math.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
add a patio door?
Correct. Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
will be 1 year. 1 year since the turmoil began. It was on the night before the draft when San Francisco made the call. Word got to Rodgers. Rodgers said, yeah, I'm all for it. Paul Allen, voice of the Minnesota Vikings, who had a friend of a friend in an organization or, knew something. We talked about it, and the world went crazy. It's only been a year. Seems like forever, but it's only been a year. Think about that. Doesn't it seem like this has been going on a lot longer than just 11 months and 20-something, 28 days, Ben?
Well, it's all I've known. I mean, I started on this show in May.
Right.
And that was pretty much in the heat of it. And then it continued throughout the year, continued after the year. And even though we re-signed, I feel like it's kind of still going on now.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree with that. It's been technically less than a year.
So what do people talk about when, there isn't a Rodgers drama going on?
Well,
it's like football and stuff.
We actually talk football. it actually happens that way. But it is, and has always been, well, go all the way back to when Favre was here. It was getting weapons for Favre, getting protection for Favre, building a defense, and then trying to manage that. I don't think there's any team in the National Football League that has zero flaws and only one need going into the season. I think every football team can add depth everywhere and has more than one or two or three needs. That's without saying. I think what makes a good football team is getting legitimate Pro Bowlers on both sides of the ball at least three or four positions. I've been doing this long enough to know you're not going to have a Pro Bowler at every position. Okay. What you're looking for is a really good safety, one really good corner. You're looking for a good either middle linebacker or a pair of bookends outside and a defensive lineman. You're looking for a good left tackle, pretty good center, a really good wide receiver, and a really good quarterback. That usually, if you put all of those players on, not to say that you have 7 to 10 Pro Bowlers, but if you have those spaces, those positions really solidified, you can have a really successful year. You really can. I remember Dom Capers talking to him one time, and I know people roll their eyes, but Dom Capers really is and was a good, defensive coordinator when he had the talent. So, and he always said, give me a really good nose tackle, give me a really good middle linebacker, give me one edge rusher, and a really good guy in the secondary, a really good corner. Good safety if you can get them, but the good corner is more of a necessity. And he had Nick Collins. He had Charles Woodson. B.J. Raji came into the mix with Ryan Pickett because those two guys together were fantastic. And then he had getting the best year ever out of A.J. Hawk. And he had an edge rusher in Clay Matthews. And it was the number one defense when it came to takeaways in the National Football League. And they ended up becoming a top 5 defense. And then you have a really good quarterback with a good wideout, a good offensive line, and one good running back, and there you go. Now, he happened to have 4-5 good receivers on that team, which made it very difficult. But that's what you need. So you ask yourself, if you want to start up the gut, do you have a good nose tackle? Yes. Do you have a good edge rusher? Yes. Actually, you might have 2. Depending on what Rashawn Gary had, what kind of a step he takes forward this year. You have a good linebacker? Yes. You have a good safety? Yes. Both Savage and Amos are solid. Yes. You have a good cover corner? Yes. Provided Jair can stay healthy. Stokes turned out to be really solid too. You got 2 solid guys in the secondary. Yes. What else do you need? Add depth. Jerron Reed, solid. Do you get another edge rusher? Yes. So defensively speaking, you're actually looking pretty good, barring mass injury. And now you say, do you have a good left tackle? Yes. Good center? Yes. Running back? Yes. Do you have a good wideout? Crickets. You don't know. Quarterback? Yes. You've answered all your questions. If you had Devontae and Sammy Watkins and a couple of draft choices, not only are you the favorite out of the NFC, I think you win the whole damn thing hands down. That's the difference of what the loss of Devontae means and the necessity of getting additional wide receivers in. So Dan says, feels like it's been more than only a year, but actually it has been going on since Jordy was cut, in my opinion. His public comments started changing when that happened, and his disdain for the front office was becoming more clear at that point. That's just my opinion. You're probably right. When they did not offer Jordy at least a reasonable contract, Dan, you're probably right. But watching Jordy play for the Raiders, you understood. I think Jordy was worth more than what the Packers offered him. And he would have been better had he still been playing with Aaron Rodgers. Clay Matthews, the same thing. Clay Matthews said it was a 30-second phone call. Talk to you later. Thanks for being here. By the way, get all your hair products out of your locker. Talk to you later. That was it. But you're probably right. Because Jordy was his guy. He and Jordy rode to work together. He and Jordy, they did stuff together. You know? So, yeah, you're probably right. The way they kind of treated his friend, sure. I mean, other guys on the team, there's, you know, I don't think Rodgers has as deep of both on and off the field relationship with. Randall, yes. But the rest of them, maybe Bakhtiari, obviously. But beyond that, no. But you're probably right. Probably it began with the lack of an offer, a good offer for Jordy. And that probably started the ball rolling. 877-867-1670. Give us your thoughts. Wide receiver position solidified. Sammy Watkins, now draft choices coming in, or are they still woefully lacking? Give me your assessment of what it would take to win a championship. How close do you think this team is as it sits today? As it sits today, and actually getting to a Super Bowl, or do you think, you know what, time has passed, it's done, it's gone. 2 more years of just kind of trudging up that hill, just to find yourself falling back down it, and then ultimately gone. Aaron Rodgers will be out the door. He'll either retire or move on to another team, and the rebuild will begin. And you only have, with 30-plus years of Hall of Fame quarterback play, 2 championships to show for it. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Indy cars are running. Get your ticket to see them scream around the road course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For event information, go to roadamerica.com. That is roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad you're with us on this Friday before Easter. Hopefully you're enjoying your day today, and wish the weather was a little bit better, but that's okay. Things are good. Brewers back at it again tonight, taking on the St. Louis Cardinals, trying to keep the win streak alive and maybe overtake the top spot in the National League Central. Hang in there for that. Meanwhile, we're talking some Packers football. Are the Packers done? Sammy Watkins hired, brought in. Are the Packers done? Do you think that Goody is going to make another deal? Has he got something up his sleeve? Is there a trade about ready to happen? Or do you think that they bring in Watkins and then a couple of draft choices, get it all together, you're good to go? Maybe wait for a June 1st cut down day. And the next question is that enough? Is that enough? Is Sammy Watkins enough? Let's say they get Olave. Sammy Watkins, Olave, bring in another wide receiver later in the draft. Say a guy like Olave. Is that enough to then put, the true weaponry around Aaron Rodgers? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This was from Mark. Mark says, I think Rodgers needs more weapons. We kept talking about it with Brett Favre, hoping he would get Randy Moss. Never happened. Never went back to a Super Bowl. No. Mark, you're right. I remember the whole discussion for the longest period of time was about whether or not Randy Moss would end up, because Randy Moss, his agent was Brett Favre's agent, which was Bus Cook. And obviously they wanted to get both of those guys together. Brett really felt that Randy Moss would have taken the lid off of many defenses for him. And just never material. And Favre was really PO'd. Favre was upset that they never got him here. Rodgers, at least according to Pat McAfee, seems to be a little bit excited that Sammy Watkins is in the fold, but how much does Sammy Watkins have left in the tank? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. This one's from Mark, different Mark, by the way. Mark listening to us in Houston'sford. Mark says, love my Green Bay Packers. A lot of people want to put the blame on Aaron Rodgers, and for what? Just being a great quarterback and having an ego. He says, we would not even be in this position if it wasn't for Rodgers. People need to lay off and understand that greatness comes with a prima donna attitude. No, not always. Was Peyton Manning like that? Tom Brady is the guy that everybody wants to hold up as the example. Brady, we can say Brady has an attitude, yeah, but let's see here. Would you say Brady and Rodgers conduct themselves the same way? Now, everybody's got a different personality, so I don't fault Brady and I don't fault Rodgers and I don't fault Peyton Manning because everybody had their demands. Everybody wanted to elevate those around them. It's how you go about it from point A to point B. I don't think you can look at one guy and say, well, you need to be him, because you can't be. You can take away a lot of the quality. Like, let's just say you're in a company and you are, a salesman in a company, and the top salesman is just kicking everybody's ass, just bringing it in day after day. Okay. What does this particular salesperson do better than what you do? Do they have more contacts? Do they go out more? Do they mix and mingle more? Do they work the phones more? Do they have a better closing mannerism to close the sale? Do they get more opportunity? I mean, there's so many other things to think about. Maybe you just go about it differently. But you look at what the good is, and you say, well, this is what I can do. This is what I can do better. This is what I can emulate. This is what I can accentuate. And then you look at the negative side of things and say, well, these are just simply things that I can't do. And you go from there. But to compare one to the other and say that, you can't be a prima donna and others are, and no, it's you take the good with the bad. Take the good with the bad is what it is. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This one is from Jeff. Jeff says, hey, Bill, welcome back to Milwaukee. Glad to hear you back on in Milwaukee. Been watching you on YouTube for over a year. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. He says, Aaron Rodgers is the best in the game. He just needs the weapons around him to show it. Let's not forget, if he had more than Devontae Adams, chances are he probably goes to him this year, and we find ourselves in a Super Bowl rather than sitting at home. So you think, and again, I don't want to sit here and just look at the Allen Lazard pass, okay, because they could have moved the sticks, didn't, chose to go downfield. Do you think about 2 years ago, had they had another go-to guy instead of trying to go 3 straight times down to Devontae, that the other go-to guy would have ended up catching a pass in the end zone against Tampa Bay and either tying and or winning that game? You know, do you think that would have been the capper? And this is another question. Gina, you bring up a great question. Gina said, didn't you say at some point that it might have been the attitude of Davante Adams that he wanted the ball more and Rodgers was accommodating him? Now Rodgers can throw the ball to whomever he feels is open. What I said was, Gina, isn't it going to be interesting if Rodgers just moves the ball all over and the offense flows even better? Because there was a time, and it was a report that Mike Clemens gave us when we talked about the departure of Davante Adams, that, you know, Davante wanted the ball. He was vocal about wanting the ball. And maybe, I'm not saying it's true, okay? I'm just saying that could this be the hypothetical that Davante wanted the ball so much that it became Rodgers' focus, so he didn't have, and again, I'm just throwing this out there, okay? I'm not saying it's true. I'm only saying here's the hypothetical. Let's just say behind closed doors that Davante was a guy that was kind of, you know, mouthy, or I don't want to say a malcontent, but he was pretty unhappy, say he wasn't getting the ball. He wasn't getting the respect. He's not one of Rodgers' guys on the outside. He's not one of the inner circle. And then he comes into work every day, works his ass off, and he feels that he's the best wide receiver to ever step on the field at Lambeau Field. Okay? He wants the ball, and he's vocal about it. So Rodgers throws it to him as much as he can to say, here, go get it. And if he doesn't, then he can justify him not throwing him the football or whatever. Now we'll find out. Now we'll find out. Because if Rodgers all of a sudden, and I said this, I asked this question earlier, let's just say Rodgers puts up the same numbers this year as he did last year, but the ball is spread out to more guys. Then you sit back and you fold your arms and you go, wait a minute. Was Davante a problem? Was there something else going on there? Wisconsin Sinner says 7-0 without Davante. Everything's going to be all right. I think that number is a little skewed, and only in the sense that it's games that he was hurt. Had the Packers retained Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and now you're bringing in Sammy Watkins, you've still got Lazard and Cobb, and you bring in a couple more wide receivers with Rodgers, and I think you're probably okay, but you lost a pretty good components to your offense. You're going to take a loss without Davante. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But maybe, just maybe, that scenario was true. It's not that there's rumors or innuendos about it, but I remember Mike Clemens saying that Davante wanted the ball. And there was a time when I think it was 12 or 13 or 14 passes he caught in a game, and he wanted the ball more. He wasn't happy he got the ball more. And that one little comment kind of stood out to me, because I'm thinking to myself, this guy had a huge day and still wasn't happy with only getting the ball in double-digit attempts. And I thought, I wonder if that's an issue behind the scenes that we don't know about. You know, but we'll see. We'll see. 877-867-1670. This portion of the program brought to you by my buddy Lyle and the gang at J&L Tire Service. If you are out on the road right now and you're on 94, you're in Johnson Creek, you're in Watertown, you're cruising around, you're saying, boy, need to get the oil change. Might be taking a trip. Okay, getting ready for the season. Maybe need some new tires. Boy, the rain the other night, hydroplaning all over the place. Get some new tires. Or the brakes are squeaking. You got just engine issues. Idle is rough. Need that fuel injector cleaned out. Whatever it happens to be, they can help you out. J&L Tire do great work, great service. A lot of different brands for tires. Goodyear, obviously, the premium tire. But Dunlop, Kelly, all that kind of good stuff. Or if you are an over-the-road driver, you're a truck driver, you're out there right now, and you're driving along and suddenly you blow out, or you got bad brakes or whatever it happens to be, lights and buzzers are going off in the cab, stop out and see our guys out there at J&L Tire. They can help you out, whether you're a soccer mom cruising around for an oil change, or you got a big rig right now with a load of whatever. And you're going to need some new tires. You're going to need some new brakes or work done on the trailer or the cab. They can help you out. Check them out, jnltire.com. That is jnltire.com. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You want a real good feeling? Our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin keep that feeling all year round inside, whether it's the heat in the wintertime, the cool in the summertime, whatever it happens to be. They've got some deals going on right now where you can just start adding up the savings is the best way to put it. At Pella Windows and Doors right now, this is the way it works, okay? So take a listen. Right now, you add a patio door, you save more. It's simple. You buy 3 windows, you save $500 when you add a patio door. You buy 6, that's $1,000. Add a patio door. Buy a dozen, do the math, 2,000. Say it with me. Just add a patio door. There you go. It is unbeaten when it comes to the variety, the choices, the economics of it all. They've got 2 great lines of the vinyl replacement windows, economical vinyl replacement windows. They've got Impervia, which is as strong, well, it's stronger than fiberglass, stronger, not as strong. It's stronger than fiberglass. And then they have the 3 wood lines, which are fantastic. And they've got them from contemporary to traditional. You can pick your interior, your exterior casings. You can pick your hardware. You can pick roll screen, slider windows, all that kind of stuff, and save money just when you add a patio door. It's that simple. Just keep adding it up. All the way through the end of this month, that deal remains. So get a hold of our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Go to PellaWI.com. That is PellaWI.com and see for yourself, or call them directly and they'll come out. As a matter of fact, the second measurements are coming up at my house to get everything exact. We've picked everything out, got it all done. They're going to remeasure, and then it's all going to be good to go. And all you got to do is call them 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI. 855-PELLA-WI. And you can see for yourself what it is I've been telling you about. Just fantastic windows and doors. And I'm getting that new patio door put in my house and can't wait because that'll be the last one. Everything's done. The whole house is complete. It's done. It's good. It's economical. And I'm telling you, when you stand next to those doors and windows, specifically when the wind is howling and it's cold, cold, cold outside, you don't feel it inside. It's just they're that good. Coming up after the top of the hour, our good buddy Mark Daniels from WNFL in Green Bay. He's going to be here. We're going to talk with him about the signing of Sammy Watkins and his thoughts as to whether he thinks Goody has anything else up his sleeve and where the Packers may or may not go in this year's NFL draft, maybe some of the guys that he might be high on. So we'll talk a little bit about that coming up here in just a little bit. Mark Daniels, by the way, was also at the game yesterday. So we'll get his impressions of Miller Park and such. Or American Family Field. And so Miller Park, it's so difficult. I was thinking about this yesterday when you say American Family Field. Now, the people that in fact, it's Miller Park, stop. Just stop. But Miller Park is kind of that landmark. You know, as you come into town, you know, you pass Miller Park or you've said it for years and years and years, almost 20 years. It's tough to just break the habit. But I've been pretty good with it. I haven't slipped too often. But it's one of those tough things to let go of. Just like Oakland Raiders. Even when the Oakland Raiders were in LA, it was tough for me to say Oakland or LA Raiders to Oakland Raiders. So now that they've gone to Las Vegas and been there just a couple of years, it's like San Diego Chargers. Same thing. The Rams are always going to be the LA Rams to me, just because they were originally there. Well, at least when I was growing up as a kid, they were. And then when they moved to St. Louis, it just seemed weird. And now they're back out. Because then it was the St. Louis Cardinals who then moved to Arizona. The mix and match over time, it's always tough to keep up with. 877-867-1670 if you want to hit us up, do so. So, Ben, was it difficult to go from, what is it, the Forum to the Wachovia Center?
Oh, the Spectrum to the Wells Fargo Center?
Yeah, Spectrum. Yeah.
Not really, honestly, because it was a new building. It wasn't that they just renamed it, but they tore down the old dump and built something nice. So, no, that wasn't hard. And then, I mean, the Vet to everything else was just finally moving out of the Stone Age.
Yeah, the Vet was much like one of those cookie cutter stadiums like Riverfront Stadium, Three Rivers Stadium, to a certain extent, Fulton County Stadium down in Atlanta. They were all made by, I think, the same construction company and designer. They were those multi-purpose universal stadiums that they could switch seats around, move. And as a matter of fact, it's the same thing for the Coliseum, or not the Coliseum, the place where the A's play. Is that Alameda Coliseum? Is that Alameda Coliseum?
I think it's called the Coliseum.
Is it? Okay. That's where the Oakland A's
Coliseum.
Play. Yeah, same thing, where they can move the seats around and they can make it a football field versus a baseball stadium. They can move that around. Yeah. Same designer, same thought premise. So it takes me, I've been pretty good with it. I haven't screwed it up too much. Going from Miller Park to American Family Field, but I do it out of habit. There's some people that do it emphatically because it's always going to be Miller Park. I can't believe they changed the name. Well, I still don't understand that mentality, but it is what it is. Just like you're doing something good. I'm a beer drinker. Okay.
Call it free thinking, Bill.
Right. No, it's not. It's because if you're a fan of the Brewers, then you go with the company that's supporting the Brewers. Miller did it for 20 years. They were offered to continue to do it. They said, no, we don't want to be a part of this. We want to just sell our beer inside the stadium and call it a day. Okay, great. American family stepped up and said, sure, here we go. Somehow everybody's rates went up because of that. When a beer company sponsors it, does the price of beer go up? A couple of 10, 15, 20 cents a can? Just throwing it up there. All right, we're going to talk with Mark Daniels, WNFL in Green Bay when we come back. Stay tuned. A whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the program. We are glad you are with us. Bill Michaels Show. Forgot my damn name. On the air, and we are glad you're here. So thanks so much for joining us. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, you want to find me over on Twitter, you can find me at Bill_Michaels. We're talking everything today. Brewers get a nice win yesterday. Bucks coming up this weekend in the first game on Sunday, taking on the Chicago Bulls, getting ready for a deep run into the postseason yet again. And speaking of postseasons, you're hoping the Packers are there again this year in need of wide receiver help. They bring in Sammy Watkins. To talk more about that and so much more, our buddy Mark Daniels from WNFL in Green Bay joining us on the hotline. Mark, how you been?
I'm good, Bill. How are you?
I'm good. Now, did you tailgate yesterday at American Family Field, or did you just head down and cover it?
No, I just head down and cover it. I had to do a couple of news site stories, so I visited with a couple of tailgaters. But, just walking from the Logan lot around a little bit of the ballpark was crazy. I didn't see any of the porta potties flying around, but it was tough. That was a 5-club wind.
Yeah, that was exact 5-club wind. A golf reference. I know spring is now on the horizon. I feel better about things. So, first of all, give me your impression with the fact that you've got fans back in the stands. We saw them obviously this year at Lambeau Field, but for baseball and to get down to American Family Field and see fans in the stands again and feel the electric, how was it?
Yeah, it was great. It's always a fun atmosphere. The first one's, the best one outside of the postseason. But Baseball, to tell you the truth, sitting up, you've done it hundreds of games too, but sitting in the press box, I like it, but I like baseball sitting in the stands, third base line, 20 rows back with a beer, in the cup holder. That to me, and just enjoying an afternoon watching a baseball game is great. And, but the crowd was really energetic. They had a lot of fun. The Brewers got going early, kept them engaged, and I thought they played the most complete game by far out of the first 7.
So I want to get to the NFL side of things, and more so the Green Bay Packers. First and foremost, Sammy Watkins signs with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, at least according to Pat McAfee, happy with the signing. Give me your thoughts.
I don't think Aaron has many choices now anymore.
Right.
The way this thing has gone this offseason, he was fine with Devontae Adams getting traded. He better be fine with Sammy Watkins coming in. But, I think it's not quite Devin Funchess 2.0. I think Watkins is a better player than that. He's an interesting personal character. He's said and done some goofy things over his years in the league, but the injuries are concerning because it's always something with him, an ankle, a calf, whatever. And it just hasn't been able to get a complete season. I was concerned about that with Randall Cobb coming back. That guy hadn't played 16 games since 2015. And Funchess hasn't played 16 games since his rookie year in 14. But he can make plays. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think being a veteran in what is going to be a room full of kids outside of Randall Cobb is going to be beneficial in just getting the new receivers an understanding of what's required. Whether he can be productive, I think there's a good chance he'll be certainly more productive than he was in Baltimore, as he kind of went down the depth chart as the season went on with a couple of injuries along the way, and only 27 catches. But he's got a relationship with Jason Vrabel. He was in Buffalo when the Bills took him 4th overall. He was the first receiver drafted that year. Adams was the 9th receiver drafted that year in the 2nd round. And, you just look at the numbers. All right, Watkins, okay, 384 catches, 5,000 plus yards, 34 touchdowns over his 8 seasons. You look at Adams, 300 more catches, 3,000 more yards, and 40 more touchdowns. You're not going to be able to replace that, but with Sammy, with Cobb, Lazard, and whoever else comes in, you hope to get close to that.
So with Watkins coming in, and I was asking the question earlier, I'll ask you, do you feel that the Packers and Brian Gutekunst are done with any, veteran wide receivers as far as maybe making a deal or trying to find somebody after the June 1st cut down? Or do you think that, no, there's still something else up Goody's sleeve?
I don't think they're going to make a splashy trade. They're not going to send Seattle draft picks for DK Metcalf and get him, at a salary that has, for that position, has just exploded this offseason. Adams certainly, but Hill another, with the deal he signed, and a couple of others that have come down the pike too. They're just not going to do that. So I think you're right. They may find a guy that's had some NFL experience 2 or 3 years in, that's kind of off the market, or is a June 1 casualty, that's played some games, maybe is familiar with this offense. That's a possibility, but I think they're probably just going to go, all right, Lazard, Cobb, Watkins, and 3 draft choices that they hope 2 are, in the first 2 rounds with a lot of talent. And if they can get those 5 and those kids to play and be productive, I think they feel okay. Keep in mind, I also think this is going to be paying a really good quarterback a lot of money to hand off moving forward. They love the running game. They're developing these offensive linemen to be the stretch zone kind of offense, that I think LaFleur would really like, and I think would certainly extend Rodgers and not force him to drop back as much and make plays as much, knowing full well he's very capable of doing all of that. But I think they want to release some of the pressure that's going to be on the passing game by being a little more effective with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon.
Talking with Mark Daniels, WNFL Radio in Green Bay. So, I was saying earlier when Dom Capers years ago, he said, give me guys up the gut. Give me a good strong nose tackle. Give me a linebacker. Give me a pass rusher. And then give me a good safety and maybe a cover corner. And I can make this a top 5 defense. I think the Packers are sitting there with a lot of those guys that are really solid. Offensively, I think the only thing they're missing, obviously, is the experience of a guy that can take the lid off of a defense wide receiver wise. How far away is this team in your opinion?
I don't think they're far away. I think they still have a lot of talent. This was a really good team. They had great players. I mean, Rodgers, Adams, great players. Kenny Clark's Pro Bowler, Campbell, all pro. They're good. Alexander is going to be really, really good for a long time. I think Stokes was a nice pick. They're counting on the safeties to continue to climb. They've added Jerron Reed. They think TJ Slayton's got much more of an upside than the Kingsley Kikis and some of the guys that they've trotted out in that D-line in the past. I think they're still right there. Clearly head and shoulders, I think, in the Central Division or, in the North, and so, that's the starting point. But no, I think they're going to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC again.
Is there somebody in the draft other than a wide receiver that you're looking at going, this guy might fill the bill for the Green Bay Packers?
I think they got to make a decision on the right tackle position. They've loaded up on offensive linemen in the last 2 years, Bill, but all of those guys, I think 3 in 2020, 3 in 2021, are pretty much all interior guys. Not many of them are just pure tackles. Is Josh Nijman the answer? Is David Bakhtiari going to get back? They need a right tackle for sure, whether it's Nijman or somebody else. I have a feeling a tackle is going to be a priority for the Packers. Again, I think they're going to need another big one up front on the D-line. I know they added Jerron Reed, but I do think that's another area. Jerry Montgomery talked about it, earlier this week, saying, I want another one that can be a little disruptive in the pass rushing department from the inside to, get Kenny Clark off the double teams. If they could do that, I think they're pretty good. Can never have enough corners. Sullivan's a Viking. Kevin King ain't coming back. And so you got Stokes, Alexander, and Douglas. Like those 3, but another would be nice.
What do you think they do with Jair? When do they? I thought by now, just to free up additional cap space, they would have had a deal done. What is taking so long, do you think?
I'm not sure. Whether or not they're convinced he's going to be fine from that shoulder injury, I think they are, but I'm not sure. I know they're talking. Goody at the owners' meeting says they have had discussions with Jair's agent. I think they'll get something worked out. Just going to have to be patient on that one. But no, they're not going to let this guy get away.
I know that obviously the next year or two with Rodgers is kind of the linchpin, and everybody talks about the window of opportunity. But I'm with you. I know a lot of people don't seem to think that this team has everything it takes to get there, but I think that they're maybe a wide receiver from maybe surprising people away from being really, really good and winning a Super Bowl. I don't think Sammy Watkins is the answer to everything. He's certainly not Devontae Adams. But if you can if you can keep guys healthy and spread the ball around enough and get somebody that can just give you a downfield threat every now and then, I think there's enough between Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur scheming guys open that this team can win a lot of ball games. I'm not as...
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not in that pond that everybody is swimming in that thinks the season's over.
No, I'm not either, Bill. And, quite honestly, they played in the last 2 years 7 games without Adams. They won them all. We were really leading receivers those days. Lazard, or an MVS, or a Malik Taylor. Juwan Winfrey made grabs. The offense produces production. And so, I think who's ever running the offense, but the problem is they got to get kids up to speed fast. They got to get Watkins in the mix right away. There's no real time for a learning curve because of the rest of the talent around this offense. So I think Tunyon is another big key, and he may not be available till mid-season. They really need something from that position, again, to just create matchups from the front to the back, sideline to sideline, and all of that in space. And they need a capable tight end to do that. And Tunyon certainly is that when healthy, because I think Mercedes Lewis is a great blocker, but he's not going to be a weapon. I'm not sure about DeGuara or Daphne yet. So they really need that piece to come and develop as well. But yeah, I think the pieces are there. This is a team that has been there and gotten there. They just don't seem to play well when they get there. And that's what's the most frustrating thing.
I was talking about this a little bit earlier. Mike Clemens, at one point, we were talking, about Devontae and the loss of Devontae, and he was talking about his competitive spirit. And Devontae, he said, God, I don't know what it was, 12, 13, 15 catches or something in a game. And seemingly was a little bit upset he didn't get the ball a few more times. Do you think there was ever an issue with the need to throw the ball to Devontae because to kind of keep him happy?
No, I don't know about that. Not to keep him happy. I don't know how he can not be happy with 238 grabs in 2 years. Good Lord. I mean, he was by far targeted as much as he was because he was winning as much as he was. He's that good. I mean, he really is, I think, the premier receiver in the NFL, if not the top, certainly top 1, 2, or 3. So you've got to get the ball to him. But again, now that he's not here, let's kind of just dial it back and let's just focus on the offense as a whole. And I think this is a good offense. It has been effective in producing points and yards. The only time I really wondered about Rodgers, zeroing in on Adams was on the last pass of the day against the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
That was just incredible to me how he just winged it. It was almost like Favre throwing the deep shot in Philly on the 4th and 26 game in overtime that had no chance of being completed, and Dawkins picked it off, and that's what eventually lost the game. It was that same kind of throw. I'm going, what in the world? Especially seeing Allen breaking over the middle like that, knowing full well that in that double coverage that pass would have been there, but yet he still said, I'm going to Devontae. Can't figure that one out.
Yeah, I would agree. Do the Packers need another running back, by the way? There's a lot of talk about whether or not they get another depth, just in case you lose an Aaron Jones or
I agree. They do. Kyle and Hill, they were looking at, not bad. And then, got blown up on the kickoff return. So they liked what they had early on with him. Is Taylor a guy? He's tall, upright, high knees kind of runner. But yeah, I think they're going to draft the running back. They've got 11 picks going in. I'm not saying they're going to have that many coming out. But yeah, a couple of receivers for sure. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, corner. You know the drill. They're going to need guys to give Rich Bisaccia some, at least the fleet of foot and with the demeanor to improve the special teams in the first couple of years.
Real quick before I let you go, are you surprised that there haven't been more rumors, talks, discussions about the possibility of trading away Jordan Love?
No. They're just going to stay the course. They've invested 2 years in the kid. I think he's worth continuing to develop. I mean, there have been scouts, and I've been talking to a couple, getting ready for, a couple of weeks, that seem to think Love is every bit as good as all these quarterbacks that are high on the board this year. The Pickett's and the kid from Ole Miss, that Love is comparable to that. So I think they're going to stay the course, play this out with Rodgers. If it is just 2022, well, then they got to have Love around. And if it's going to be 23 and 24, well, then they'll probably have to make that decision down the road. But no reason to unload Jordan Love now to leave the Packers in the hands of Kurt Benkert if something should happen to number 12.
Mark, good stuff. As always, man. Glad you enjoyed opening day. We'll talk again soon down the road after the NFL draft, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Appreciate it, pal. Talk to you soon. There you go. Mark Daniels, WNFL in Green Bay, joining us a couple of minutes on the hotline. You can get him at Mark Daniels, WNFL, at Mark Daniels, WNFL over there on Twitter. Good stuff for him to join us, and certainly appreciated this portion of the program. Brought to you by our friends at New Mail Medical Center. New Mail Medical Center, they have got it going on in the sense that this time of year, there's the need to start, shall I say, feeling better, looking better. You've got T-shirt season right around the corner. So if you're going to do anything, call our friends over at New Mail Medical. They can jumpstart an all-new you, whether it's ED, erectile dysfunction, which they can almost all but certainly help you with. They've got more energy capability. You've got better looks capability. You've got weight loss capability, maybe some supplements and things like that to get you moving. All kinds of different things at Numel Medical. Call the medical experts, 414-455-4451. The medical experts at Numel Medical. Call them, 414-455-4451. That's 414-455-4451. Get a hold of them. Good people over there. That is Numel Medical, 414-455-4451. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
On a good Friday, the Bill Michaels Show rolls on. Don't forget about our friends at Epoxy Flooring Done Right, providing Wisconsin home and business owners the opportunity to beautify their spaces, whether it's a home, say it's a garage, basement, whatever it happens to be. Maybe you're a business owner and you've got a showroom you want to get done. Great economical way to do it. Or maybe you're a car dealership, industrial, whatever that happens to be. Epoxy coating flooring services, polyurea coating services, different colors, different finishes. They can even paint that room for you. They do it all. Check out our friend Sean and the gang from epoxyflooringdoneright.com. That's epoxyflooringdoneright.com. From Green Bay to Madison, Milwaukee, everywhere in between. Call them 262-443-2852. 262-443-2852. Again, 262-443-2852, or go to epoxyflooringdoneright.com. That is epoxyflooringdoneright.com. During that discussion with Mark Daniels just some moments ago, the question then became, do the Packers have enough to win it all? Do the Packers have enough to win it all? Now think about that for a minute. Going through everything we talked about. Defensive line, yeah, you'd like to get some depth, but they're pretty good. Linebacker, Devondre Campbell, pretty solid, right? I think we can all agree upon that. Then you look at the secondary, led by Adrian Amos, kind of your middle-of-the-road guy back there. Darnell Savage. You've got Russell Douglas, Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes, all in the secondary. Solid, right? You bet. Chris Barnes came on last year at that other inside linebacking position. Jerron Reed adds additional depth next to Kenny Clark up front. Defensively speaking, you look solid. Now, you could use another middle linebacker, right? You picked up Isaiah McDuffie last year in the draft, 6th round, at that inside linebacking position. You still have Ty Summers, but he's more of a really solid special teams kind of cat. You still got a little bit of depth in your secondary. Not much. Wasn't like it was, but you still have some depth. Okay. Shamar Jean-Charles, your 5th-round draft choice from last year. Scott Vernon, who was your was it a 7th round, I think? 7th-round draft choice at that safety position. He's still kind of back there floating around. So you've got a little bit of depth, okay? But offensively, you have Sammy Watkins, Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Amari Rodgers. After that, you've got street free agents. Juwan Winfrey, Malik Taylor, Rico Gafford, Chris Blair. You got those guys. Okay. But you at least seem pretty set. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. Yeah, like he said, if you get Kylan Hill back, they really liked him, really liked his return ability. There's Patrick Taylor, college free agent. So do you feel set? Do you feel like you just need another wide receiver or two in the draft just to come in and give you the ability to spread the ball around? That this team is right there. Are they right there? 877-867-1670. Rick says, I think the Packers are going to win 11 or 12 games, but the playoffs always boils down to the healthy, hot and lucky. I agree. How good are the Green Bay Packers? This is what Mark Daniels had to say just moments ago.
I don't think they're far away. I think they still have a lot of talent. This was a really good team. They had great players. I mean, Rodgers, Adams, great players. Kenny Clark's Pro Bowler. Campbell, all pro. They're good. Alexander is going to be really, really good for a long time. I think Stokes was a nice pick. They're counting on the safeties to continue to climb. They've added Jerron Reed. They think TJ Slayton's got much more of an upside than the Kingsley Kikis and some of the guys that they've trotted out in that D-line in the past. I think they're still right there. Clearly head and shoulders, I think, in the Central Division or, in the North, I mean. And so, that's the starting point. But, no, I think they're going to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC again.
There you go. I think they're one of the top 3 or 4 just because I think the NFC is depleted. I think a lot of the strength has gone to the AFC. We're going to look at LA. We're going to look at Tampa Bay, the Green Bay Packers, probably Dallas, maybe Arizona. I don't know where San Francisco falls in all of this. San Francisco got to an NFC championship game. I don't know where San Francisco falls in all of this. I think it's going to be San Francisco is kind of an enigma because you still have Jimmy Garoppolo, right? They haven't made that trade. Trey Lance behind him. You still have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell at the running back. You still got, weapons. And that defense, led by Nick Bosa, D Ford on the opposite side, Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner. They're still pretty solid. They can still get after the passer. So, I don't know where San Francisco is going to fall in. So maybe San Francisco, you want to throw them in or throw them in there? Throw San Francisco into the mix too. Okay. 877-867-1670. Are the Packers the team to beat? Will they make with what they have? Now, again, as we stated, I think a couple of wide receivers are in the offing, but I think they're right there. Who might be the surprise team in all of this before it's all said and done? Who might be the surprise team in all of this? Kyle says the Packers have the talent to win the North. I think I'd rather go on the road for the playoffs, though, despite Green Bay saying that they like playing in the cold weather. I don't know about that. Get Green Bay in some decent weather in January and February, and that might not be a bad way to go. I would not even mind seeing the Packers in a dome in January and in February, leading into a Super Bowl. Might not. Aaron Rodgers usually wings it pretty good in domes. Now you got to have a pretty fast team too. If you could put a team that plays normally in grass on cold weather in a dome, that's like getting a spring in your step. And then if you've got natural speed to burn, you get a couple of guys maybe that are 4'2", 4'3", 4'4". Yeah, you can do some damage. You all of a sudden walk into that situation maybe a little bit ahead of the game because of what you've been sludging through throughout the season. Take that. 877-867-1670. Got an opinion? Bring it. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The NASCAR Series returns. Secure your tickets to see the big guns roar around the road course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For all the racing information, go to roadamerica.com. That is roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
One of the two, I think, happens. One of the two. The Vikings, I agree with you. The Vikings are a good football team, and as long as Dalvin Cook is healthy, they certainly have weapons to throw to. That offense is good. Just whether or not they can build a defense that's going to be able to sustain. But again, when you get a new coaching staff, it either takes you a while to absorb it, and therefore you go through that first season of kind of a learning woes, or with a new energy and a new pep in your step, it takes off. And if that's the case, then yeah, the Vikings could become kind of the surprise team in the NFC before it's all said and done.
Bill, have you seen the Herculean tier? All of the quarterbacks compared to Kirk Cousins?
No, I have not. I know it's crazy,
one of the
because you just look at the Kirk Cousins is kind of an enigma because he's bet on himself and he's made a ton of money. He's only won one playoff game. And yet, you talk about other guys that have been there. Garoppolo's been to NFC Championship games. Matt Ryan's been to NFC Championship games. But you look at it, and Kirk Cousins is the guy that is just, he continues to churn out money. He gives you statistics, but he doesn't win anything.
I just sent it to you.
Okay.
There's a big football analytics push, not necessarily to change decision making, but just to, look at the game differently. But then they created a chart where every quarterback is, for instance, Baker Mayfield is 0.75 of Kirk Cousins.
Really? Okay. I got it here. Okay. So Derek Carr is a 1.3 times Kirk Cousins.
I don't know how scientific it is, but it's hilarious.
Right. Ryan Tannehill is 1.1. Matt Ryan is 0.95 of Kirk Cousins. Mac Jones in his first year is 0.9. I wonder how much of a leap he takes this season. Jimmy Garoppolo 0.87. And he's right in the sense that Jimmy Garoppolo is not that great. But Jimmy Garoppolo's been to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game. Then there's Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones. What cracks me up about Daniel Jones is the faith the Giants front office put in him.
Hilarious.
They act like Daniel Jones he's just about to Aaron Rodgers level. He just needs one good season. Like, what? They have this faith in Daniel Jones. I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
I've always called him Walmart Eli Manning.
That's probably a great way to put it. And that might be an insult to Eli if he never pans out.
I mean, Eli's career record was below 500.
Yeah, but Eli, when he had a good defense, he won games and won championships. It's when they let that whole thing fall apart. He had to deal with the craziness of OBJ, who had to propose to a kicking net. Remember that? He got tangled up in the kicking net, and then the next week proposed to it, got down on one knee, and acted like he was opening a ring box to a kicking net.
Oh, since the boat picture, the Giants are the worst team in the NFL.
Oh, they just, that's another train wreck.
That was a fun day at Lambeau.
Cheddarball says the Vikings finished 8-9. Cousins, an average quarterback on an average football team. Yeah, but the problem is that he actually put up good numbers. If you look at him statistically speaking, in comparison, in say the MVP chase, he was right there for quite some time. But his defense faltered this year. The defense just didn't do anything, and that was what was so staunch about that team for more than a few years. It was their defense that was putting them into the postseason, and the offense just needed to be okay, And instead, this year their offense was better than okay. Now, granted, they had some injuries, but it was their defense that was terrible. I agree with you. An 8-9 season wasn't great. They lost to Cincinnati, remember, in that tight game to open the season. Then they lost to the Cardinals in another tight game. They put up 30 again. Now, think about this, though. They put up 24 against Cincinnati, 33 against the Cardinals, 30 against the Seahawks. Granted, that Browns game was ugly. I remember that. They barely beat the Lions. Then they put up 34 against a bad Panthers team. They had 2 games in back-to-back weeks. The Cowboys and the Ravens. Put up 31 against the Ravens, lost by 3. They lost to the Cowboys 2016. That was kind of an ugly game. They put up 27 on the Chargers, 34 on the Packers. Then they fell to the 49ers, 34-26. They got beat by the Lions 29-27. They put up 36 on the Steelers, killed them. They barely beat the Bears. That was an ugly game down at Soldier Field, 17-9. They put up 23 on the Rams. They lost that game, but put up 23. The Packers drilled them pretty good at the end of the season, 37-10, and then they beat the Bears 31-17. They were scoring 24, 25-plus points per game. But look at what they did when they lost. They lost 34-31 in a tight game against Cleveland. They lost 14-7, 2016 against the Cowboys, but lost 34-26, 29-27, 30-23, 37-10. 34-33 to the Cardinals. That defense was giving up points like crazy. So the offense, while it was not horrific, the defense was just bad. And Kirk Cousins he finished the season with a quarterback rating of 103.1. He threw for 4,221 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only 3 picks. Had a completion percentage of 66.3. I mean, that's solid. Cousins was not a part of the problem. The problem, I mean, granted, he too gets lumped in with wins and losses when really you shouldn't, but he is the leading quarterback, has only won 1 postseason game, and that was against the Saints a couple of years back. That's it. Cheddarball says a good football team wins those games. I agree, but they weren't a good football team. Their defense was bad. Absolutely. Just like when people want to put out, oh, by the way, Rodgers is 1-5 or 1-4 in the 5 NFC championship games. 3 of those, they had no business even being there because their defense was so bad. So I understand it. 877-867-1670. Find us, hit us up. Got something to say? Say it, bring it. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at the Water Doctors. John Atlee and the gang, Kinetical Water Softening System. Best I've ever had, by far. And I will not change. I've had others come along, but nope, nah, baby. And even advertisers have said, hey, would you like to change over to the nope, no, thank you. Nah, baby, nah. Call them, 262-549-7733, or go to H2-O-Doctors.com. H2-O-Doctors.com. Kinetical Water Softening System. Best I've ever had. And our friends at the Water Doctors, they support veterans through the Custom Canine Service Dog Academy. They are a great organization. John Atlee, the owner of that place, is fantastic. Again, go to H2-O-Doctors.com or call them 262-549-7733. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
If you're looking for a good place, Italian fish fry coming up tonight, go see our buddy Joey Albanese, Albanese's Roadhouse, Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield, right there in Waukesha area, next to Menards. And by the way, he's still looking for some participants for the Bocce Ball League. So if you never thought about playing bocce ball in a league, you know, if you can't swing a golf club, can't play in a golf league or anything like that, bocce ball might not be the bad way to go. It's like bowling, it's just outdoors. Check it out. They've got them over there at Albanese's Roadhouse. Say hi to Joey and the gang. Stop in for the Italian fish fry tonight, or good Italian food at any point in time. That is Albanese's Roadhouse right there on Blue Mountain Road in the Waukesha, Brookfield area. And if you're going to do grilling this weekend or maybe some tailgating down at the ballpark, oh boy, our buddy Paul Roberts Specialty Meats in Waukesha, they have got it all. They are your hometown butcher, and tailgating, it is obviously a staple. And it's where you go. If you're going to get good tailgate fare, stop into Robert's Specialty Meats, get some of that Al Capone roast, the Al Capone sausage, the ribs on a stick. All you got to do is throw them on the grill, and as soon as they're warm, eat them. It's that simple. No prep, no nothing. Just take them out of the packaging, right there on the grill. You're good to go. Oh, such good stuff. Check out our buddy Paul Roberts. Roberts Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. That is Roberts Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com, and check out everything that he has to offer down there. Good stuff. A lot of people saying they think the surprise team in the NFC this year is going to be the Vikings. Rick said, I think the signing of Watkins was like adding another Randall Cobb. He'll make a few plays, but a game changer he is not. Hopefully they land Landry, and I have a bit more faith that he'd make a decent addition. What do you say? It'd be interesting if they get Landry too. That's a great question. That's it. I think, who do you think has more gas left in the tank? Ben, Jarvis Landry, or Sammy Watkins?
I think I'd say Landry, because I'd add in the context of the situation he's been in recently in Cleveland and before that. And in this offense, I think I like his fit more. And I mean, Watkins was productive in 2019 with the Chiefs, But I think there is a reason that he's been on now 4 teams in as many years.
Right. I
think that's the number.
I think Jarvis Landry would add more. I agree. But I question why more teams aren't going after him. Don't you? I mean, I thought for sure once he was cut loose that we would have seen him sign with somebody by now.
I mean, the Sammy Watkins thing, the Packers pretty much got him close to for free, mostly incentive based. And that's what they did last year with the Jalen Smith and Merciless and all those guys. See who hit. Maybe it's just because Landry actually wants significant money.
Right. And that was going to be what I was going to say, was that the only thing I think being an impediment for Jarvis Landry is probably what he's asking. And the Packers just don't have it. Now, if you do a deal and are able to, say, sign Jarvis Landry, well, you're going to have to redo Jair's contract first. You're going to have to do that thing first. I don't think you can. I don't think you can bring Landry into the mix. You're going to have to hit, and maybe even Dean Lowry before you're able to go out and start picking up additional. I mean, okay, what was the base salary? What did the base salary equate to for Sammy Watkins?
I don't think I've seen it.
I was going to say, didn't we know that yet? So
I've seen up to $4 million.
It was up to $4 million, but we don't know specifically what it was.
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry is going to be significantly more, obviously.
I saw a report from the end of March that he was asking for around $20 million.
Yeah,
which is wildly unrealistic, but
he's not going to get that. He's going to what's going to happen with him is he's going to end up settling for about 10 to 11. Unless somebody becomes desperate. If there's a team out there that loses their number one and they're depleted, then they'll end up paying him. And that's probably the reason he hasn't signed yet and taken less. But he's not going to get $20 million. It's interesting though, because the wide receiver market has risen so dramatically. The price for a good wide receiver has gone up. So the trade and sign for Devontae Adams, the Tyreek Hill deal, all of that's only made his price go up from what he could have gotten to what he's probably going to get. But, the Packers aren't going to pay him that amount of money. I mean, that's the one thing about it. And they couldn't if they wanted to at this point. 877-867-1670. At the top of the next hour, I do want to talk a little about Bucks basketball. I think we have to. Bucks getting ready to start the playoffs coming up this weekend. You've got the final set of play-in games coming up tonight. That being said, you got the Hawks and the Cavaliers fighting for the 8th seed. You got the Pelicans and the Clippers fighting for the 8th seed. And the winner of those games on the East, one to playing the Heat. On the West, one to playing the Phoenix Suns. As those teams are going to go at it. Bucks and Bulls coming up 5:30 Central Time. Down at the Fiserv Forum coming up this Sunday. We'll get into that. I as much as I've liked DeRozan's season, and I think that the Bulls have certainly taken a lot of steps forward, and I like Billy Donovan as a head coach. The results are the results. I think the Bucks are going to win the series 4-1, and they're going to move on. However, there could be something that throws a monkey wrench into that, and we'll talk about it coming up here in the top of the next hour. As far as the rest of the postseason, because it's obviously going to get underway here beginning on Saturday. You're going to have the Jazz and the Mavericks coming up tomorrow. That's the tip-off game. And then 2:30 Central Time, Timberwolves and Grizzlies, Raptors and 76ers are in the evening. And then the Nuggets and Warriors are the West Coast later game on ABC, 7:30 Central Time coming up tomorrow night. And then, like I had mentioned, you're going to have the other games coming up on Sunday. The Bucks and Bulls are the Eastern team. You got the team that's going to tip it off, the Heat, and whomever wins tonight out of the East. They're going to get underway at noon, and then at 2:30, the Nets and the Celtics get it going, the Bucks and the Bulls, and then the late game will be whomever wins tonight in the West will then be taking on the Suns in Phoenix. That's an 8 o'clock Central Time game over on TNT as well. So that's the way things kind of round out. Going to talk a little Bucks basketball when we come back. Stay tuned, though. We got a lot more on this. Going to get back at it. Good stuff. Still got another hour yet to go on this Good Friday. Friday before Easter. Brewers baseball. Good weekend. Brewers continue the streak tonight, hopefully. Talk a little more about that as well and set the stage. We'll be back. More to come. Coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are above 500 for the first time this season. That's after a 5-1 win over St. Louis yesterday. They got a bounce-back effort from Brandon Woodruff. Gave up 7 runs in his first start, but threw 5 scoreless innings yesterday to get the win. He also overcame some adversity with home plate umpire Lance Barrett missing what appeared to be 2 third-strike calls that allowed St. Louis to load the bases in the third. Woodruff stayed calm, though, and got out of the inning before then unleashing on Barrett from the dugout.
Even last year, man, I've had those times where I've had that happen to me, and I get pretty fired up about it because it matters. I think last year I probably would have let that get to me a little bit and maybe not executed as well. But in that moment, I just kept telling myself, take a breath, clear it out, reset, and worry about the next pitch. And I think I was able to do a pretty good job of that and get through that inning.
Omar Narvaez hit his first home run since August 11th of last year, added another RBI later in the game. Andrew McCutchen drove in the first run of the game, now has RBIs in 5 of the first 7 games this season. Milwaukee back in action tonight against the Cardinals. First pitch is at 7:10. Turning the Bucks, they will get their first round series against the Bulls going on Sunday at Fiserv Forum. Winner of the best of 7 series gets Boston or Brooklyn in the second round.
For nearly 40 years, ABC of Wisconsin has been helping men and women transform themselves into well-paid, productive members of their construction teams. Have you thought about a career in a skilled trade? These are the types of skills that could secure your future. Jobs that can't be outsourced to someone overseas. Be in demand. To get your career started, go to buildyourcareerwi.org.
Well, the Packers added wide receiver Sammy Watkins yesterday, reportedly a 1-year deal for up to $4 million. Watkins caught 27 passes for 394 yards and a touchdown last year for Baltimore. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
that Jarvis Landry's going to have to kind of swallow his pride a little bit and take less money. Just throwing it out there. And it's probably going to be quite a bit less. I can't imagine. And by that, I mean maybe 13, 15, 16 tops for Jarvis Landry. I don't think he's going to get 20. Ain't happening. 877-867-1670. So you got the play-in games coming up tonight to finish things off, and the Bucks taking on the Bulls coming up this weekend down at the Fiserv Forum. Game 1 of this series. Bucks 51-31 on the season. Bulls 46-36. The Bulls have not beaten the Bucks but once in the last 16 meetings between these two teams. DeMar DeRozan averaging 27.9 points per game, a couple of boards, about 5-6 boards per game, and some assists. But we all know that as good of a season as he has had, and look, they got obviously some good players down there, and I like Billy Donovan as a head coach. I really do. But DeRozan, Levine, Vucevic, I like him. Lonzo Ball, I mean, he can become somewhat of an outside threat. We know he can shoot beyond the arc pretty well. I just don't think they have enough firepower. I really don't. Even going back to that game, I just think that they took a lot of shots on the inside. A lot of bunnies missed them, and it maybe would have made the outcome of that game against the Bucks closer, but it wouldn't have given them a win. The Bulls just, I don't think, have enough consistency to be able to beat the Bucks. Maybe a game, Bucks are, just shooting poorly, but I think Bucks win the series 4-1 and they move on. Now, I said this going into the top of the hour. There's one thing that I think could happen that may derail that prediction. And that is if by chance, which I don't think it's going to happen, but if by chance, there's a couple of things that have to lead up to this. If the Bulls get a win at the Fiserv Forum on Sunday, which we saw the Bucks last year, they lost the first game in each round of the postseason last year and still ended up winning a championship. But if Bucks fans look at this game and think, you know what, Bucks are going to win this series, no big deal. And Bucks fans let go of their tickets and allow the Fiserv Forum, as it was the last time these two teams played at the Fiserv Forum, to become almost a 50-50 proposition. Bulls fans get into this. Bulls come out with a lot of energy. Bucks just feel that, throw us the basketballs out on the hardwood and we're going to win this thing, no problem. A little bit overconfident. I think all of that happens. Then maybe the Bulls have a fighting chance where they get that first win of the series, and now the Bucks feel the pressure. But I still think the Bucks, even with that happening, still are going to win the series. It may end up 4-2, 4-3, but the Bucks win the series. But if the Bucks win at the Fiserv Forum coming up on Sunday, I think it's a 4-1 series, and the Bucks walk away. No problem. 877-867-1670. Ben, is that the only scenario possible in which the Bulls could actually win a couple of games against the Milwaukee Bucks in your mind?
Yeah, I see it similarly. I still think, I don't know. There really isn't anything in my mind that gives me pause about this series. There are some series that you go into saying, if you can list all the things, and if this, and this happens, then the Bulls could end up winning. I still don't know if I'm there with this one. It's just like they haven't had the Bucks number in years. Not only just to beat them consistently, but beat them at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And take away mass injury, then I don't think the Bucks have any trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Mass injury changes things. An injury to Giannis changes things. You lose Chris Middleton, you lose Drew Holiday for a short stint. I still think the Bucks win, but you lose Giannis, that changes the perspective of all of that. That I agree with. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Thoughts on the Bulls and the Bucks coming into this weekend? I think we just kind of are waiting to see who the next opponent is going to be for the Bucks. I hate to say that, but it's kind of true. My opinion. By the way, Frank says, you're sitting there ripping on Kirk Cousins, saying he can't win. I never said that. That's not what I said, Frank. I never said he can't win. I said they don't. And yet he's got a winning record against your Packers in his career. Kansas City wasn't the problem in Minnesota. Yeah, they missed the playoffs the last couple of years, but they'll never do a 3-30 like Green Bay did. What do you mean a 3-30? 3 appearances in a Super Bowl?
Talking about the 80s?
You know, what the hell are you talking about? They're an offer. When was the last time the Vikings were in a Super Bowl? And I gave Kirk Cousins all the credit in the world. I went through his numbers. I said he had a hell of a season. Frank, I don't know what you're pissed off about and why you got your Vikings undies in a bunch, but the bottom line is the quarterbacks get all the credit in the world for wins and losses. Okay, so we can start there. But I said what cost them was the defense. The bottom line, though, Kirk Cousins has 1 win in the postseason. As a starting quarterback, he has 1 win. You can say whatever you want, and I agree with that. But 1 win in the postseason. That's a fact. Okay? Now, was it all his fault? No, of course not. Of course not. He's had some defenses. He's had some offensive issues. I understand all of that. But, and when you talk about 3-30, come on. Come on. The only time you were in an NFC championship game and had a legitimate shot at going to a Super Bowl was with Favre. That was it. That was
Case Keenum.
Well, Case Keenum might have got him back there again. I didn't like the move getting rid of Case Keenum. It's kind of like you just kind of stick with what gets you there. Now, Case Keenum, now granted, after that, he was never anything. But he fit that system. He fit that group. Sometimes you just find the fit. And Case Keenum fit. Now, whether or not he would have fit the next year, probably not. He was cheaper. That's for damn sure. You could have taken that money and maybe spent it in other areas. Either continued to bolster the defense or given more weapons or what have you. But, you know, Case Keenum, they got there. But they weren't doing anything with Case Keenum. I just
bring that game up because I was there and enjoyed it thoroughly.
But they weren't doing anything with Case Keenum. Their legitimate shot was during that game in which Favre got his ass kicked down in New Orleans because they just beat him up. But as far as saying I'm blaming it on Kirk Cousins, no. I know when the chips are down, Kirk Cousins has made mistakes, but more so this season specifically, the defense gave up. I even went through game by game, Frank, and said, look, the offense scored points. Their defense was giving it up in big chunks, 30 plus. You're not going to win a lot of games doing that. Come on, man. Quit hearing what you want to hear and getting butthurt over your boy Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, you tagged in that post. I hope Kirk's listening now. You like that? There you go. I feel better.
You like that? You like that?
Sound like Peter Brady from years gone by going through puberty in that second. You like that? Just saying.
You like that? You like that?
You like that? Oh, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up over on Twitter, just like our buddy Frank did, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Joe and Ellis out there, Sloppy Joe's on Hubertus and Hubertus. Between there and Smoke on the Water, they're looking for the reservations for Easter. So if you haven't made them yet, get them in. They're going to be open. They've got a great brunch. Stop out and see for yourself, but get your reservations in like every place on Easter Sunday. Every place takes reservations on Easter Sunday. Get them in, but go to their websites, check out their menus. Really, really good stuff. And say hi to Joe, say hi to Ellen, and just give them our best as on Easter Sunday. They got a great brunch out there. Again, Sloppy Joe's out in Hubertus, just east of Holy Hill, or Smoke on the Water on Okauchee Lake. And that's right there on Wisconsin Avenue out by Okauchee Lake. So stop out and tell them we said hi. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay, Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no map.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
Add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Mark thinks the Bucks are going to struggle with the Bulls. And he believes, and Mark says so eloquently, the Bulls are lying in the weeds, waiting for the Milwaukee Bucks to come into this series overconfident. I think Giannis is the only one that takes things serious. Everybody else seems to want to just show up and play. The addition of Brook Lopez, yes, he's a good defender, but he's not going to give you enough scoring power to get past the Bulls. DeMar DeRozan has something to prove in this series. That's from Mark. Mark listening to us in Kenosha, which I can only assume, Mark, you are either a transplant from Illinois and you just happen to scamper across the border because our taxes are better here, or you had parents that had drank the water that was seeping from just below the border. One of the two. But thanks for listening in Kenosha. Certainly appreciate it. No, Mark, as much as you want to talk about the possibility of the Bulls beating the Bucks, that ain't happening. Maybe they beat them in a game. But as far as the rest of that goes, boy, smoke and rope, man. Smoke and rope. Whatever you're making your sandals out of, don't fire it up anymore. Ain't happening. I will be willing to throw some bet down on that. I can't imagine, like I said, unless, say, Giannis goes down, there's mass injuries, I can't imagine the Bucks losing this series. Just can't. Everybody's dangerous when you get to the postseason. I get it. Yada, yada, whatever. But no, the Bucks aren't losing to the Bulls. That would be if the Bucks lost to the Bulls, that would be more shocking to me than when the Packers lost to the 49ers at home. Because that stunned us. I'll never forget that feeling. Sitting there, we were at Fox's doing the show, doing a postgame show, watching that game, packed house, just anticipating this first game to get it out of the way, get on to an NFC Championship game. And it was like somebody dropped a bomb. It was complete silence. People just walking around like, just zombies. I can't believe it, was like Night of the Living Dead. You're just all walking around wide-eyed. No. I can't imagine that. And if the Bulls beat the Bucks in this series, I would be even more shocked than that. There's some games that I was, kind of shocked over. When the Brewers fell to Washington in the wild card game, that one was a little bit shocking. When the Packers lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship game, when Brett Favre threw that pick, that was shocking. Because I thought everything was set up for the Green Bay Packers to roll on to another Super Bowl. I thought they were rolling right in. Oh, yeah. That was shocking. The Bucks losing on the road in Philadelphia? No. Sorry, Kyle. No, it wasn't that. That was a hell of a game. We knew going into that game, because I was there. You just knew that everything was setting up because it just felt like the league wanted Iverson to take on Shaq and Kobe. You just kind of felt it. And the air came out of the sails when they pulled Scotty Williams off of that plane for the suspension. Not that shocking. So if the Bucks fall to the Bulls in this opening series, that would be, Rick says, I would glue myself to the Fiserv Forum court if Chicago wins a series. Well, that's good, Rick, because after the fact, they would have a whole year to get you off of it.
That's fair to say.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Can't imagine any scenario in which the Bucks lose that series. And it all gets underway on Sunday. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up in any one of the topics, please feel free to do so. Mikolas goes to the Hill tonight for the Cardinals. Freddie Peralta goes to the Hill tonight for the Brewers, by the way. 7:10 first pitch down at American Family Field. Brewers looking to get a win. Meanwhile, the Chicago Cubs, who, dare I say it, the Cubs are on top of the division right now by a half game. Cubs on the road taking on the Colorado Rockies. Marcus Stroman to the Hill tonight against German Marquez. There you go. Stroman and Marquez teeing off against one another tonight out in the Mile High City. 7:40 Central Time for that contest. The other ones of note, You've got the Pittsburgh Pirates hosting Washington, and Cincinnati on the road again against the Dodgers. Vladimir Gutierrez going tonight against Gonsolin out of LA. So there you go. That's your matchup coming up tonight. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Milwaukee Dave says, hey, Unit, I would be shocked like you if the Bucks lost this series. I think Giannis is coming out with something to prove that it wasn't just a one-time thing for this Bucks team to win a championship. Look for him to be dominant. Did you get your screen door fixed? Oh, you know what? Thank you for asking. No, I did not. Not yet. For those that follow, I did post that yesterday, so you must follow me over on Facebook. Yeah, the back screen out of my sliding screen door in the back of my patio is torn up. Years ago, Mickey my dog Mickey, tried to run in from the outside and ran right through it. And it's been a big hole ever since. And now I'm going to put the screen door, now that I don't have the dogs anymore, I'm going to put the screen door back in. But I got to get it fixed. I got to get the screen fixed. And I don't have a big car. I've got a Hyundai Genesis, and that's not a car conducive to sticking a whole screen door in. So I didn't have a way to get it out of here. But I'm going to probably use Kristen's SUV after I get off the air today. Maybe I'll take it to one of the Ace Hardware stores or something and try to get that fixed. But no, I did not get it fixed yet, but I eventually will, and all will be right with my world, because it's supposed to be really warm next weekend, I guess. If you look at the long-term forecast, it's supposed to be upper 60s, low 70s next weekend. So for those that are battling the weather up north, for those that are battling the cold weather, windy blues in the southern portion of the state, like many of us are, warmer weather's on its way. Next weekend is supposed to be a decent weekend. Saturday is supposed to be the better of the day. Now, I say this knowing that, and I don't mean to insult weather people, but I have done this before where I have looked at the weather forecast and I've studied it every day. And it'll start out like this Saturday, coming not tomorrow, but the next Saturday is supposed to be 68 and partly sunny. So I'm thinking to myself, if it gets a little warmer, it should be in the 70s. If not, be in the low 60s. But 68 and partly sunny, I'm saying it today on this Friday. And then in 7 days, we'll see what the actual forecast is. Because there's times where you think to yourself, oh, God, it looks great. This is going to be fantastic. And then by the time the actual day gets there, you can just, wipe the hiney with that forecast. Throw it right out the window. Right out the window. This is from Packer Fan 31. He says, hey, Unit, got a question for you. I'm going to be in Milwaukee area this weekend for my wife's family's Easter brunch on Sunday. We're looking for a great dinner tomorrow night. Do you and the wife have a go-to for a date night? Abso-freaking-lutely. If you're going downtown Milwaukee, Gino's, go to Calderon Club. Great date night, great place, great Italian food. Awesome. Awesome place. Depending on what kind of money. I mean, if you want to go high-end money, steakhouse, you can do that. If you want to go out there on the water, there's Harbor House. But just for great food, great atmosphere, go to Calderon Club. Ask for Alex. Alex is the best server they have. Ask for Alex. He'll take care of you. Tell him we sent you. Say hi to Gino. That's a great place to go. If you need help beyond that, let me know. But that's where I would head to. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this. Welcome. Glad to have you on this Good Friday as we get you ready for the weekend. And a lot of little stuff to go. By the way, did you see that the final touchdown that Tom Brady threw last year that was auctioned off? And then the day after it was auctioned off, I think it was like $3 or $4 million or something like that, some kind of crazy money. Brady announced he was coming back. They are now making that sale null and void because it is not his. I guess that's part of the risk you take when you buy that ball immediately after the season ends for a competitive guy like Tom Brady. But they are making that ball that was sold. They're going to make that. They're going to make that null and void. Going to say, nah, baby, nah to that one. I'd tell him, hey, that's the risk you take, man. Talk to you. I would have put the contingency on it. If he comes back, it's still a final sale. See what happens. Just my thought. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Also, in case you didn't know, going on in the world of the NFL, but the Dallas Cowboy cornerback Kelvin Joseph, connection, he wants to be talked to by, or they want to talk to him by the police department in connection with a shooting death last month in Lower Greenville. It's a section of Dallas. Cameron Ray fatally shot after a March 18th altercation with a group of people that appeared to include Joseph. He was a second-round pick of the Cowboys last year. In video footage obtained by KDFW television in Dallas, one of those involved in the altercation was wearing a YKDV necklace. Joseph, which this kills me, goes by the rap name YKDV Bossman Fat. You play in the NFL. What are you doing? More footage goes on to show then two shots coming from an SUV as Ray and his friends walked to their vehicle after the altercation. The Cowboys, no comment. The team is talking with Joseph, encouraging him to speak with the police to discuss what he knows about the situation. What does this sound like? What does this sound like? Does this have kind of that same sound of the Hernandez shooting, Ben?
Yeah, I remember the Hernandez shooting more from, I've watched the documentary on it.
Right.
I remember the story breaking, but I wasn't covering sports at that time, obviously. So I wasn't like riding on every new piece of information.
Aaron Hernandez got into an altercation with somebody in a bar. And, they kind of got into a little, and it was really somewhat of a minor altercation. It was really, people that were there were like, this is really nothing to get crazy about. And yet the thought was, now they never got a chance to try him for this, even though more and more evidence started to come to light, was that Hernandez took offense, waited for these guys to come out of the club, drove up on him with their SUV and shot him. And shot him dead right there in the street. This has very much the similar kind of context to it. Detective Tanya McDaniel told KDFW that Ray and his three friends were in Dallas for the weekend. They were not responsible for the incident that preceded the shooting. Police have been working to identify the group seen in the surveillance video, including the man wearing the YKDB necklace, which Joseph wears. He went to LSU before he ended up playing one season at Kentucky. And you kind of go from there. But yeah, why do you call yourself YKDV Bossman Fat when you're a player in the NFL? But he does. And in the video, you can clearly see the necklace that displays that. And they say that, they know he wears it. So they're trying to talk to him. But it sounds similar. It sounds like a guy, you go into the club setting, you get into a little bit of an altercation. It doesn't see it. And again, the police feel that it wasn't the guys that got shot. It wasn't them who started the altercation. And then they end up, shot there on the street. So, but the Cowboys are dealing with that. 877-867-1670, by the way. 877-867-1670. Also, the one thing we have not mentioned, but it is Jackie Robinson Day throughout Major League Baseball, celebrating the 75th anniversary of Robinson breaking baseball's color barrier. And Dave Roberts using the day to call out Major League Baseball for cutting back on opportunities for black players, as he put it. And one of the things that has been substantial in baseball as opposed to other sports for black players has been the lack of inner city baseball programs. The Major League Baseball, when Bud Selig was commissioner, put a lot of money into trying to develop inner city baseball. And over the years, it has become, those funds, at least since Rob Manfred took over, have become more utilized for international baseball. A lot of teams setting up scouting areas, scouting offices, if you will, throughout the Dominican Republic, Japan, moving all around to try to find the international baseball players, while kind of ignoring a lot of the inner cities. The inner cities have been predominantly basketball and football, and baseball has kind of fallen behind in those areas and not getting enough African-American players, black players in the league. So that's one of the things that is being pointed to by saying, hey, look, if you really want to develop some of these players that are looking for other opportunities, because you can be a professional player, you have far more opportunity to get to the majors via the minor leagues than you would be as a football player or an NBA player. Even with the advent of the G League, there's more opportunity to be able to do that if you are really, truly that special athlete to get there via baseball than there is any other way. And that's the argument, is that, hey, if we could just get more opportunities for a lot of these city kids to be able to play baseball and be organized in doing so, then I think you'll see an uptick in African-American players starting to get into Major League Baseball and playing more of it. But that's one of the things that's, being discussed more heavily, especially on the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barriers. So this is one of those other things that's coming to light this weekend as well. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's go to Ed. Ed, welcome to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. What's going on, man?
Hi, Big Unit.
What's going on, buddy?
It's you from the Milwaukee days.
Oh, okay. How you been, Bill?
I really good. Hey, I got a comment, and just 1 second. I'm going to change something here. I feel like I'm hearing myself twice.
Okay.
There, that's better. So, the guy that called about the Bucks and Bulls game, I went to a Bulls and Bucks game this year, and it's all about matchups. The Bucks are totally they overmatched the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
And one key player, point guard, two key players actually, point guard and Giannis.
Right.
Those two are they're a dynamic duo on that team. I mean, look what they did last year against Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I rest my case on that.
Right.
I just want to know your take, and I have a Packer thought. I was wondering if you could put some insight, because everybody's thinking Green Bay's got to go wide out. I like to think, don't you think they need a little defense help?
Yes.
Corners, maybe.
I think, and let me deal with the last question first. I think they're going to get a wide out probably early, but I also think they're going to look for an edge rusher. They're going to look for additional line depth, and then they'll probably look at the cornerback depth position. Absolutely, I don't. And when they get to the defense, whoever is the best available, whether it's a corner, whether it's an edge rusher, whether it's a defensive lineman, that'll be who they take. I don't think they're going to start out by saying, we're going to go line, then we're going to go secondary, then we're going to go edge rusher. I think they're just going to take whoever is the best available, because they also need to figure out right tackle. They need additional depth on that offensive line. They could use a linebacker. They could use a tight end. So I think there's many different ways they could go, but I know they're going to get themselves a wide receiver or two.
And I just want to say, I really love listening to your show. I have never been able to get on before, and I live in Madison, and we get a different angle on sports talk here. I had a lot of memories of you. I feel like you're more in the know in that area. You're closer to you were so close to the Packers when you had your shows and everything, and you came on during the day. I miss your beer tapping in the background.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got to bring that back. We don't have that that good sound effects machine like we used to have. I got to get that. We haven't had that in a while. Yeah.
That's true, bro.
All right, buddy.
Well, I'll have one for you, okay?
By all means, do so. I'll pop one a little bit later on today for sure as well. Appreciate the phone call. Going back to what he said about the Bucks and the Bulls, he's right. I mean, you can look at the matchups. Who are you going to cover? Because I don't think the Bulls have enough to be able to. So let's say you're going to take Chris Middleton out of the game. Well, you're not going to be able to defend Giannis on the inside. And you're not going to be able to defend Drew Holiday. So you may take Chris Middleton out, but the other two are going to have a big game. Say you try to go strictly after Giannis. You try to collapse everything on Giannis. Well, the other guy that can beat you on the inside or even shoot from the outside could be Brook Lopez. Now, Lopez is not going to light it up for 40 points, but he can give you 17. Portis can hit from the outside. You've got a deep bench. You can always bring in a guy like Grayson Allen. You can hit to give guys a spell. Pat Connaughton to give guys a spell. You can go small ball and get up and down the floor and still be able to shoot decently from the outside. It's just, I think this team, with the last year you had PJ Tucker, he was kind of your X factor because he could come, he was your junkyard dog. He could come in, he could do the dirty work, he could defend somebody. You could just say, PJ, go get him. And he'd run out and get him. And that's what he did. He was really, really good at it. You don't have that same guy this year, but you've got different versatility matchups that you can play versus what you had last year, which is why I think the Bucks are the best team in the East. I think they can go up against anybody. What would worry me is the outside shooting of, say, KD. What would worry me would be the outside shooting of Miami. That's it. I think everything else they've got covered. I think it's easy. When you get to the postseason finals, either Phoenix and I've been on record saying this, or Golden State, both of those teams can shoot from the outside like nobody's business. And they don't defend well beyond the arc. They're just not that good of a team. They're not that quick of a team. So those are the two teams that I give them the most problems. Otherwise, I think they win this series hands down going away. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show final segment coming up, but that doesn't mean we just say goodbye. We got a lot more to discuss. Plus, we'll set up tonight's contest between the Brewers and the Cardinals. And we'll go back to that and just wrap up a few more emails and such before we get out of here and get off to Peter Cottontail coming to town for an Easter weekend. Stay tuned. Final segment of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad to have you. Getting you ready for the weekend. By the way, I had a question here about Julio Jones and the former Atlanta Falcons and Tennessee Titans receiver. He is still coming off the worst season of his career. Still free agent. He basically fell off a cliff. He was cut loose by Tennessee. He finished with just 434 yards and a single touchdown in his first year with the Titans, and a clear drop after finishing with 771 yards, playing one less game in what was his final season in Atlanta. Boy, Atlanta cut him loose at the right time, didn't they? He is looking for a quarterback capable of elevating his game after he spent a season with Ryan Tannehill. Now, that would rule out a majority of the league. And probably including a potential reunion with his old coach out in San Francisco. And with that in mind, the spots that he could land, if indeed anybody felt he was worthy of it. You know, they say, well, Green Bay obviously needs a wide receiver, but there's no way in hell I'm paying Julio Jones. I mean, he was making, I think it was his last contract was like 13 or 14 million bucks. When Tennessee cut him loose, they owed him all that money and they had to pay him. It came forward. And I think it was 13 and a half, something like that. But there's no way I'm paying Julio Jones to come into the Packers organization at this point and do anything worth anything. Just don't think that's going to happen. Just an FYI. Hey, by the way, if you're looking for a good place to go this weekend, our friends at Boondocks Barbecue, Brews, and good stuff. I don't even know how else to put it. Just good people out there. Tom, matter of fact, Tom and them, Tom, the owner, and Stacy and the staff and everybody, they came down to Stenny's yesterday. They joined us down at Stenny's for a little while, heading down to the ball game. So great time. Thanks to them for coming out. One place supporting another place coming out for the program. That was a good time. So if you're going to be heading anywhere, Highway K out there in Oconomowoc, that is Boondocks Barbecue and Brews. Good stuff. Go out and say hi. And if I've always said, if you're a veteran or in the military, they have that military room. You can say, I'd like to make a reservation in the military room. I'm in the military, or I'm a veteran, and they will accommodate. They really, really take a ton of pride in our veterans. So, and those in the military. So if you're going to go out maybe for an evening, do something someplace that is in that area, cool place at that, watch the game tonight. There you go. There you go. By the way, the Cowboys now have come out with a statement regarding the incident, as Kelvin Joseph is a person that is being sought in connection with a shooting death last month. They said that they have talked to him. They're cooperating with the Dallas Police Department, and that's all they're going to say. They say they did alert the NFL that he is being investigated, but that's all they're going to say. No further comment at this point in time. So that was just moments ago. I was watching Twitter, and that statement came up. So that's all they're going to say about it. Anthony says, what happens if Elon Musk buys Twitter? You know what? I have no idea. I don't follow that crap. Twitter, Facebook. I mean, before Facebook, it was MySpace. And other entities have come along. You've had Instagram. You've had, obviously, Twitter. There's other ways of communicating with people. I know TikTok is more video than it is the written word. But I don't know. I stay out of that crap. This is people with more money than God that argue over more money. They buy things just because they're mad at. I have no idea. I wish I was able to dabble in that world monetarily, but I can't. So I stick with what gets me there. I try to figure out batting averages and catch ratios and completion percentage, tackles, sacks, things like that. That's my wheelhouse. Free throw shooting, hitting a shot beyond the arc, those type of things, you know? Every now and then we'll venture off into the world of golf, bowling, you know, we cover it all. But beyond that, I have no idea. I don't know. Don't know.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, I don't even. And I guess Elon Musk is now mad that they're not allowing him into that club. And I don't know. The guy's got a rocket. He can, if he gets pissed off, he can go build a condo on the moon. You know, he's got that much money. I couldn't tell you. People are, and I get it. People are up in arms about it because it's all, you know, what people consider to be free speech and free expression. I have no idea. I just do what I do. And if I get too deep into it, I start getting mad at everything. And then the conspiracy theories all come out. And then I'm looking over my shoulder every day. I don't know. Oh, by the way, the Mets lineup has been screwed up a little bit. The New York Mets lineup at Citi Field took a hit before they could be introduced this afternoon. According to several media reports, Brandon Nimmo and Mark Canha both have tested positive for COVID. They were absent from the lineup. So that's been a story that's being reported. That's out there. Just an FYI. So COVID does still make a little bit of a splash, so to speak.
Paul George is also going to miss tonight's playing game.
I just saw that. Yeah, Paul George tested positive and for the Clippers, and he's not going to be there tonight. That according to Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN. So he's not going to be playing tonight. The winner of that game will then face off against the Phoenix Suns in round 1 of the NBA, the postseason. So there you go. Nothing to see here. In the meantime, you've got the baseball coming up tonight. Freddie Peralta, fastball Freddie, heading to the mound with that 6.75 ERA after only one start. Miles Mikolas going to the hill tonight, 4.91 ERA for the Cardinals, the Brewers and the Cardinals. They are a half game behind the Chicago Cubs, should I say, who are playing out in Colorado tonight. You got Cincinnati and LA, and Pittsburgh taking on the Washington Nationals tonight as well. So that's the way things shake down in the National League Central. And let's just hope the Brewers have some more success, keep the win streak alive. How about that? Brewers look terrible. They get off to an ugly start. They lose to the Cubs. People are jumping off of bridges all throughout the great state of Wisconsin and Brewers Nation. Oh, my God. The end is near. The World Series is such a foregone conclusion. It's just get it out of your memory, out of your mind. It's done. And since then, they've done nothing but win 4 out of their last 5 and 3 straight. So all is right with the world. Hopefully they can keep it going tonight. Continue with the slugging. And boy, McCutchen has just been a godsend. And hopefully you get a few more rocket balls tonight off of the bat of Christian Yelich. And even then, come Monday, maybe we're breathing a little bit more of a sigh of relief. So that'll do it. Ben, enjoy New York, man.
Yeah, wish me luck. Wish the kid luck.
There you go.
If I can get there in one piece, it'll be a good week.
Awesome stuff. We'll be following on Twitter for any magnanimous. Like if a man is stuck, locked in a John in the bathroom, we'll know it's probably got to be you. That's just the way things go. So there you go. That's it. That'll do it.